We are live. All right, we are
All
back again.
right.
There we
What's
go.
up, guys?
Howdy,
Let's
howdy.
go. Let's
We
go.
are
Let's
here.
go. Like we haven't
Anybody
been
that's
talking for
here,
the
drop
last
a quick
15
comment.
minutes.
Yep, drop a comment. Let us know. I mean, this is crazy. So it's like I literally put no thought into any of doing a podcast or anything of the sort. I just basically like one day. I mean, I always listen. There's I love listening to like the Full Force, and there's some other ones that are pretty good. And I was like, as you now are very well aware, I can yap it up. As my daughters, they call me the yapper.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty funny. Like everywhere we go, I do. Like just the other day, we went for a walk around our neighborhood, and there's a gentleman that I had seen in his yard, and I always wave to, but he just so happened to be coming out of his house, and I was like, oh hey, I've seen you a few times. He also has this cool little truck that I asked him about, and we started talking, and yeah, it's we were the kids are riding around on their bikes circling, and they're like, Daddy, you're yapping again. Can we go, please? So the guy just wound up walking with us and everything. But yeah.
So if
All
you were
right,
a
Pop
Cobra
Cold Frenzy
Trooper,
here. Stevie
if
Z.
I see Pop Colt Frenzy just joined us. Hey, it's Roy. What's up, bro?
That's it. Number one Cobra Commander fan is in the house.
We see it. We love it. We love to see it. And if you were a Cobra villain, you would be the Yapper. And I'm just picturing what that looks like. We gotta get our boy to draw that for us. What's his Cole Arts, right?
Yeah, Cole Art Creative. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was that. The Yapper.
we got to make that. It's going to be incredible. So
You
anyway,
know, the kids would be beside themselves if they ever came up with something like that. Well, because they don't grasp the concept of like how many what they think because I do this, they think the nation is watching me, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I even tell them, I'm like, oh no, there's a few people. Hey, Mo's Mind is here. What's up, Matt? Snow
Nice.
Leopard, you made it. Hey, everybody, check this out. So our boy Snow Leopard, he is on a let's just say there's a time difference that's different than we have. We deal with East Coast, West Coast, that kind of
Yep.
thing. But our boy is up in the middle of the night right now to be here. I believe it's 1 or 3 or something like that. It's literally in the middle of the morning for
Mm-hmm.
our boy. So I appreciate you to the fullest
Mm-hmm.
extent making it here. That's awesome. Uh,
Bro's
bro
dedicated. I
should
love
draw.
it.
Hey, that's a pretty awesome idea. Pop Cold Frenzy says, bro should draw my girls as the Crimson Daughters commanders. Now, that is a great idea. Now, they are twins, but they're not identical. But I do
Okay.
believe that would be awesome. 3 a.m. Snow Leopard says it's 3 a.m. Yeah, that's
Perfect.
it's crazy. But that's actually a pretty good idea. So when I got that art from Cole Art Creative, just to give you anybody that's listening an idea, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It's affordable. It's very affordable. And I
Yes, it
know
is.
when you look at how everybody sees how irresponsible I am with the shit that I buy, I'm not rich. I'm irresponsible. So this is affordable stuff without a doubt, no question. And I'm sure you're gonna get more than you pay for. I can't promise that. I just know that when I ordered some stuff, he was like, I'm gonna throw in some extra
Hmm.
stuff, and he drew a Scarlet and a Baroness for them,
Oh,
and
that's
and it's
sweet.
amazing. So yeah. There he is. CG's here. StreamYard working. Thank you, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So last night, was that last night or was that this morning? That was last night. I was going back and forth with CG. And for that guy, it must be like imagine like being very good at something, and it's probably so easy for him. And I am a literal caveman with a supercomputer in his hands, and I'm just like, I can't get it to work. And homeboy always gets me right where I need to be. Rock Lockdown in the house. What's up? What's up? Um, yeah. So CG Horror, thank you so much for getting that stuff. Because like I don't even know. I didn't know what Streamyard was. I'm literally lost in the streets. I was just saying to Conrad how, I put no real preparation into any of this. I just was like, I think I'm going to do a podcast this week. It had been a random thought for a little while, and then I was just like, well, you gotta start somewhere. And if there's one thing I know, so I actually am a writer. I've been published before,
All
short
right.
story and an anniversary, yeah.
Didn't know
And
that.
an anniversary edition. It was pretty nifty. But one thing that I always was told by people who write or a lot of people who do creative things is I have this thing where I try to make it the perfect set of circumstances to do it, right? Like I
Okay.
do it with toy photography too. Like, oh, I'm not going to take any pictures unless I have this fucking 3-day build insane diode to take the pictures with. So I have that weird mentality. So I'll be like, you know, the same thing. The advice that I got across the board was just do it. Like take a piece of paper, sit down, start writing. It doesn't matter what you're writing about. Just get that pen moving, and the rest will happen. And they were right. I had a period of time where I thought I was the next Hunter S. Thompson. I had the drugs and fun part down, but I never put any discipline into becoming a better writer. That I missed the part where he was one of the best writers of his generation, and that's why he was able to get away with all the crazy stuff, because the stuff he wrote was, so elite. But I did not do that. So the same thing with taking the pictures. That's advice I feel like I've actually said that in tweets with some people, like our boy Roadblock, who is just now started. Hey, J. Antonio, what's up? There he is. Land of irresponsibility. Yeah, you ain't lying, brother. Yeah, like our boy Roadblock was. I was talking to him, and he was like, he doesn't like didn't know where to start, and I was like, just set the figure down. So it's standing up and take a picture of it. And once you take one picture, you can see, you're like, oh, okay, this doesn't look right. So let me do this. Let me, this doesn't, it's like saying something out loud. It can be one thing in your head, but the second it comes out of your mouth, you're like, oh no, that's stupid. What am I talking about? So, but yeah. That's awesome. So our boy Conrad here has been nice enough to join us, and I felt like this was an easy home run given his encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of things G.I. Joe that I am utterly unfamiliar with. And I think that is super cool. It's almost like it's almost like you're the missing link to what, like, that part of my G.I. Joe thing. I had a hard disconnect. Like I'm talking when I got out, like when they started making like the neon shit. I remember one of the figures I remember seeing where I was like, yep, I think that's it, was I think it was Major Blood. He was blue and yellow, right? He had that weird ass. Okay, so whatever version of Major Blood that was, I went, look at what they did to my boy. That's it. I think I've had enough. And and it was a hard checkout. But that also, I started smoking weed and you girls and sports and like all these other things. It came in, and I'm sure everybody kind of went through that weird period of time where you still liked the toys, but you didn't want to admit it to the people around you because we were not doing that anymore, that sort of thing. It's a rite of passage.
I don't know. I didn't have that dark age, actually. I kind of collected toys and comics. I slowed down when I was in college because I didn't have money, right? Or place to display. And so it took a few years, but especially after COVID, I was able to start getting back into it once I was a little more settled in.
Nice.
So, what was the last G.I. Joe figure you bought when you were a kid?
So that's a great question, and I think I have it narrowed down. It might have been the Rock Viper. When I try to think about so many different points of interest back at that time, like that's a great question. So little things like that, I've kind of gone back every once in a while, like something will pop in my head and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, I did like that fucking guy, or somebody will post something and it'll be like a figure that I was like, oh, you know what? That's right. I did have him, or my cousin had him, or something like that. But if I'm remembering correctly, it might have been the Rock Viper. With that being said, I think there is one of the silly looking ones. Yes, Big Red, Sonic Fighter Major Blood. That's the one. Great call. I don't remember what it is, but I had gotten it as a gift. Like what my aunt or grandmother had got me something, and God bless her, right? It was one of the ones I can kind of see it that had like all these weird, like, how the ones with the zip pulls, and it was like a little one of those, whichever guy that was. I think officially that may have been the last one that I received, but the last one that I was at the store and was like, I want this, I believe was the Rock Viper. That's pretty cool. And it's, and I do remember, so I think I've said it on the pod before, like, I had that hard ass disconnect right around that time, and it literally like I don't even remember. I was so checked out that and G.I. Joes have become so unrecognizable that I remember being in stores and never seeing them because my mind had blinders on to like, oh man, look at what they're doing over there. Don't look. And and so I just tried to avoid it as much as possible. But then it was like all the way up until the movie came out in 2008, right? Which one's the first one? Rise of Cobra, right? It's Rise of Cobra.
2009. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Rise of Cobra came out, and after they had a run of 3 3/4 toys in Walmart. And then one day I just happened to be like, my interest got piqued again because, I don't know. I really felt like that movie, they nailed that first scene about Destro, right? The history. I was like, yo, we are in for it. This is going to be fucking awesome. And then it was okay. I'll watch it today. I'll throw it on and watch it. It's fine. If they took the lips off Snake Eyes, I'd say they did a great job. That scene where he's running through the street and he's on the Hummer and shit, that's pretty awesome.
I loved it. I was a kid, and I mean, I was a teenager actually, and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. But I will say, I think that movie is the thing that really, we had so much momentum, right? Transformers was huge,
right,
huge in 2007. In
huge,
2008, 2009, we had momentum. So all eyes were on G.I. Joe to be the next Transformers level.
right,
And there's a lot of things I could say about that movie that are negative, but I'll say this, the thing I hated the most about it is that it failed to capture the momentum that was there. And
right.
Hasbro just fumbled. If you know it, it's like 2010, they even canceled the next line that was there was supposed to be a sequel line. They actually
Okay,
canceled it, took it back to it took it back a few months, pushed it back a month or a year, canceled almost all those figures, brought him back with different head sculpts. So before there was like a Duke that was supposed to have Channing Tatum's head sculpt,
I've
and
I've heard
they
that.
brought it
I've heard that.
back. Yeah, and then they changed it and brought it back as a Duke, blonde haired Duke, closer to what we know and all that. I'm just like, and even at the time, I was like, guys, it feels like you're already trying to erase this movie's existence. And
Mm,
then same thing, Retaliation. The same year, there was no momentum, no follow up, all of that kind of thing. Hey, I wanted to
right.
highlight a couple of the comments here because other people were talking about their final GI Joe figure. Rock said, I think my last was the orange Night Creeper leader, which is
Oh
a heck of a
shit.
figure to end on. Yeah, no, that one's wild. Stevie says, my last fig was a Ninja Force Snake Eyes and Scarlet with the squeeze leg action. I hated them. Those are bottom of the barrel. They really are.
Right,
That is
right.
my least. That Scarlet is probably one of my least favorite GI Joe designs.
Agreed.
LaRock said that she looked like she was on steroids. CG says he had Snake Eyes V4. Walked into Toys R Us and saw him. And then Metalhead and Salvo were Jay's last figures. Let's see here. Yeah, and then Big Red says my last Joe before Classify was the mail away Joe Colton. That was like the last one figure in '94. That was it.
Right,
It was
right.
over then. So
Jay Antonio with the good last one, Metalhead and Salvo. Salvo is
yes,
one of my all time faves. Nobody has seen it, I don't know if Jay Antonio, if you want to just give somebody an idea where they can go and find a picture of that Salvo you made. I'm salivating over that Salvo. Every time I see it, I'm just like, oh my fucking god. So he's got this great weathering technique on the big rocket launcher, and the way and just everything about it. It's a 12 out of 10, no notes, excellent job. So yeah, if and you want people want to go see that, you want to take a minute to go find it. And
those customizers are
Metalhead,
another level. So
Metalhead,
I
which
love it.
who was Metalhead? Which one was that? That was the not oh god, I can picture it in my head.
Big
Who,
rocket launchers to do with the crazy hair.
that's it. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
I
Definitely had the
posted a
hair.
clip of him
Okay.
the other day actually. So yeah, no, crazy guy.
Yeah, that's freaking
Metalhead, I
awesome.
think, is responsible for more people getting out of the GI Joe franchise tthan any single character
Yeah,
because,
right,
like,
right.
he was so annoying in the DIC comic or cartoon. I mean, and I freaking love him. I love the character, but he was so annoying and overdone. I look. I post those daily clips. I can't watch a full episode of DIC and really lock in.
Right.
I just can't do it. Um, it's tough. It's so tough. But anyway, yeah,
Rock Lockdown. He said Metalhead is the Bobcat Goldthwait of the Joe universe.
exactly.
That's
Perfect analogy.
that's good. The one that I think the one I remember that I remember having like this crazy distaste for. So like, we all suspend a little bit of belief obviously because they're toys, but also obviously because there's things about GI Joe like the silliness of they have the driver way out
Yes.
exposed in the front of every vehicle, like that's shit like that. But every once in a while you see something that's so unbelievable that it just you
Yeah.
can't suspend the disbelief, and that is I hope I'm getting the name right. I think it's Windmill. That sounds too easy. He's
Yes.
got the little
Yeah.
thing over his head. I don't remember what I was just like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
that's it. That what are you guys doing with the craziest? I mean, I could look past so like a lot of like the village people look where a lot of them don't have shirts on. They just have like vests
Yeah.
and shit like that. And you just
Hmm.
get used to that. It's part of what you deal with. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how awesome the line is that they could do stuff like that and not actually catch shit for it. People keep buying it, even though you got eight like the dreadnoughts. Most of them they got their abs exposed like crazy. It's unbelievable. So,
Yes.
so I did have some prepared questions,
Let's
and
go.
I would like to hit some of them up. I'm gonna stay in the order that I had kind of sent them to you, just to keep
Yeah.
that. Just so we kind of
Can I
already
give a
touched
quick
on.
introduction to something really quick? So
Absolutely,
CBZ pointed out a minute ago. He's like, I think you're sorting comics, and you are absolutely right. If I can, I don't know if the stage will let me do it or not, but this is what I've got. I've got a big box of Doom here.
nice.
Okay, this is all GI Joe. Every comic in this box is GI Joe. So here's GI Joe Extreme. Here is America's Elite, the 25-cent issue. This is kind of a rare one. This is a fire safety one that was only available in fire stations in Chicago. So that one's kind of wild.
That's awesome.
A lot of Devil's Due in here. So I brought stuff with me that most viewers probably aren't terribly familiar with. There's my boy Psych Out. So
Yes,
GI Joe in 3D with Crystal Ball doing something to him. So I kind of set all those aside here because I wanted to have something to show and talk about tonight, but I wanted to have something that you guys may not have seen or may not be as familiar with. So randomly during this, I will pull out some really obscure, unusual stuff to kind of show and talk about as we go through this. So
perfect.
that's what I got with me tonight. So let's rock and roll.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. So I see the comics. Did you always collect comics through the years, or is this something you kind of went back and picked up a lot more of as you're in this later years of the collecting?
Yeah. So, okay, my GI Joe origin is my brother had 12-inch figures, and we thought
Okay.
those were awesome. They were dolls, but they were pretty cool.
Right. 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 They are cool. They are
And
dolls,
so,
but they are cool.
yeah, yeah. So, and my brother then started to get the little 3/4 ones because they were like $2 at like I said, Family Dollar and Dollar General, that kind of thing, and they were Valor versus Venom figures. So we got Stalker, Heavy Duty, Kamakura, Snake Eyes. I don't remember who all we got. Ace, I think, was one of them, and we had a bunch of Cores figures, and we would combine them.
Mm.
Well, we walk into Toys R Us like in 2005, and I'm like, that looks like Duke on this stand, and it was advertising the GI Joe Sigma 6 cartoon. This is the promo art of Duke that was there, if I'm not
Nice.
mistaken. And Duke was, and I walk up and I see Sigma 6, and then I see GI Joe above it. I'm like, that is Duke. And
Nice.
so when the cartoon premiered on TV on Saturday morning, it was just unbelievable to us. And so then I started Googling, got onto Wikipedia, fell down that rabbit hole, started getting so confused, started getting comically confused. For some reason, I thought Lady Jade dies in the DIC cartoon. That was one
Okay.
thing I remember getting confused on. Nobody dies in the DIC cartoon except like the drug dealer, but that's a whole
Right.
nother
Right.
topic. And she dies in the DDP comics.
Mm.
So I like I'm a kid and I'm just blown away by all this stuff, and I don't have it in front of me here, but because I don't have any of my comics that I've had Larry Hama sign. I have about
Nice.
7 or 8 comics that Hama
That's
himself has signed for me.
that's
We
awesome.
were in we were in a flea market, and the year before had come out a set of Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Stalker, all when they were in Vietnam. And it
Wow.
came with issue 26, and it said on the package, "This is the origin of Snake Eyes." And
No
I'm like,
shit.
I didn't have any money. I'm like, told my I sold it to my brother. I'm like, dog, you have to buy this now. I
Right. Right.
need to know what the origin of Snake Eyes is. And he did. And we popped that sucker open and just devoured issue 26, and it was unbelievable. It was the greatest thing I'd ever read. And then we went back to the flea market a month later, and we got this issue, 76, and this is the exact reprint, I think. And I was just like, this is like the craziest thing I'd ever seen, because published in the back of issue 76 is this. This is a map of Cobra Island with all of the Joes. Yeah. The only Joes that are missing from this are Scarlet, or the active Joes, because some of them had retired at this point in the story. Snake Eyes, Scarlet, Chuckles, and I think Iceberg are all on a mission in the Arctic, or excuse me, in Europe when the story takes place. So my brother and I looked at that chart and we're like, we can use this to deploy our GI Joes, and we were using it to tell our stories and divided them up into units and that kind of thing. So, and then I was in. Every comic I could find, I would read. And then I discovered you could pirate comic books. Don't tell anybody, but I did, and I pirated the whole run. So I went all the way through Marvel from issue 1 all the way to 155. And then I started reading Devil's Due. I started reading everything. And my mind was just shocked. So from there, I fell down the Marvel rabbit hole. I fell into DC Comics, and I have so I'm somewhere around 1,000 comic books, I think, in my
Nice.
collection.
Oh
Yeah,
shit. Okay, that's
yeah,
awesome, dude. I love
yeah.
the ones that you sent me. I couldn't be happier. So like the zombie one is super cool.
Yes.
Beyond there being zombies, like just the characters they have in there. Like I think I did post that one picture, or I sent it to you or something
Sure
of
did.
the alley vipers and the heat
Yes.
vipers and the Cobra Commander. That was just an amazing. It's a one full page panel, and it's just like fucking.
Yeah.
It's that shit that hits. Like like when I look at I always refer to like when does it hit like when I look at Shockwave's card art.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the thing that still is the Mike Tyson uppercut punch. When I look at it
Yes.
still to this day, it's just like so. Yeah, when something hits like that, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's the good
Mhm.
stuff right there for sure. Nice.
So
So
yeah. Go
that's
ahead.
cool. So then this kind of speaks to your that encyclopedic knowledge that I talk about in a
Yeah.
sense. So you've been dialed in for a long time.
Yes.
That's really awesome. I appreciate that kind of stuff, and I appreciate there's other people who have like extensive knowledge, even just about like the figures. Like they're like,
Mhm.
oh no, that's the gun from so and so, and then blah blah blah, and then even the people today that got like today that talk about when they can look at a new figure and be
Yes.
like, oh, that's the legs from so and so, and that the upper body,
Yeah.
the buck from blah blah blah, and so and so's arms and gun holster. And honestly,
Yeah.
I think maybe the other day when I was looking at something, I think I kind of noticed a set of legs and was like, oh, I think that's the. But other than that, I you know what, I probably wasn't even right. I didn't check. It was just a thought I had. But otherwise I'm just like kind of
Yeah.
floating around, and it's like I almost don't want to know that, right? Because now when I look at stuff, it's all brand new to me. Like I
Mhm.
don't. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's I don't know if anybody is, but I think I've said it before. Like, I feel bad if you're burdened by that kind of knowledge where just, instead of being able to enjoy a new figure for being new, you're like, oh, that's basically a kit
Yeah.
bash of 5 different people. Mm.
See, I don't mind kit bashes if they're done really well. So, like the club, when and this was kind of my dark age, and also I couldn't have afforded to collect them at the time. The club would do subscription 3.25-inch figures, and they were trying to finish up the 25 anniversary line, and all those were kit bashes, and some of them are bad. I'm not even gonna pretend some of them aren't bad,
Right, right.
but majority of them are really, really good. Like Psych Out is inspired. The pieces they use to get him, and I don't even remember what the recipe is, but it's so good. And there's several figures. Iron Claw from that line is amazing. And
Iron
so
Claw. Iron
yeah,
Claw.
so Iron Claw is, oh crap, where'd he go? So GI Joe Extreme, he was the villain. Here he is with
Oh,
Lieutenant
right,
Stone.
right.
This
Okay.
guy. Yep.
Awesome. Right. Very cool.
So yeah, we'll talk a little bit of Extreme here at the end, I think. So
Yeah,
I
I don't.
listen.
I got to be honest. Like until I started, getting down with everybody on Twitter, there's so much GI Joe that I legit didn't even know existed. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the cartoons. a lot of the different lines, like when you talk about like, oh, Valor versus Venom
Yeah.
and stuff like that, like that's all been like super super brand new to me, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's enjoyable. I mean, nothing is as good in terms of being brand new as that Resolute is
No. Yeah.
Resolute is unreal.
Another level. Resolute is to me peak GI Joe, and I
Yeah,
recommend people watch it before they get into the comics because it gives a really good 1 hour overview. This is the crash course on what GI Joe is.
right,
And
right,
if they, by the way, if Resolute had been the first live action movie, we would be on. I truly believe it would have had a Transformers generational run. I think
right.
it would have been incredible. Um,
Agreed.
so I think for Pop Cult Frenzy just said in the comments he said he watched it for the first time last week. It's killer.
Fuck yeah.
It's not perfect by any means. There's some things I don't like about it. It's not like I'm not saying it's an Oscar winning movie or anything, but it's incredible. And it is the perfect introduction to GI Joe.
Absolutely, I agree, and it because it's very much true. I mean, the only complaint I have about it is that they killed off Major Sebastian right
Mhm.
off the rip.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite characters, and I wish he maybe was able to play a part. But
Yes.
I just try to look at it as I have two dope major blood figures from Classified to kind of try to help fill that void that's left by killing him off in the first thing, and Bazooka too.
Yes.
I'm not. I mean, that was more of just like I can't believe that they did that to him. But to be honest, I was never like a giant Bazooka fan. Like
Yeah.
out of all the weird looking characters and figures that they had, for some reason, I don't know if it was the football jersey or whatever it was. I just was always just kind of meh on Bazooka.
Yeah. I was too, and yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on Bazooka, but that's probably something for another time. So go ahead and
Right.
hit me with whatever question you want to get, because I want to make sure we hit a lot of these tonight.
For sure, for sure. What you got a favorite series in the comics? Is there something that sticks out to you and
Yeah.
just more than the others?
So look, Larry Hama's GI Joe run is peak GI Joe, and that is the best GI Joe thing. Period. Okay.
Right.
I'm talking about. I love Resolute. I love all these other things, but Larry Hama's is the benchmark for GI Joe. You will never surpass it, I don't think, um,
I agree.
because Hama is GI Joe. He is literally the guy. But and by the way, if you ever met Hama, if you meet him at a convention, I hope you get to. Yeah, y'all are not far. You're not far from him either. So you probably will get a chance to meet him in the near future.
I like
But
it.
he's not a nerd. He is a nerd in a sense, but he doesn't have this encyclopedic knowledge of GI Joe. But he gets the characters and he gets the concept on another level. So,
Right.
but when we start stepping outside of that, because GI Joe, the thing that annoys me, especially, and I see it a lot in Facebook groups, and sometimes we get it on Twitter, is that there's some people who think GI Joe is only Larry Hama. I don't think it is,
Mm.
because
I mean, Ron
I think
Rudat. You have to. Ron Rudat
yeah,
is. I mean, he brought a lot of those. Like, so
yes,
sorry, but
go ahead.
just to say that, like, yes, Larry Hama is without a doubt, like the number one guy. But I feel like GI Joe as a whole doesn't get to where it is without those figures being as good as they were.
No, absolutely not. So, and there's other gentlemen too that just did incredible work with GI Joe over the years for those toys. I think the big thing about GI Joe is that really makes it special is the fact they gave us so much information to work with, right? You could
Right.
just pull it out and go, okay, this is a guy with a bazooka and a football jersey. Okay, that's cool. Or you
Right.
could know about this guy's whole life on the
Yeah.
back of that
Right.
file card. And
Right.
yes, those were Larry, but so much of that GI Joe is our imaginations and what Hasbro put in our heads through the
For sure.
cartoons and all that. Look, the
Interesting.
'80s cartoon is incredible. I
Yes.
didn't love it too much. Honestly, doing these clips has made me love the original Sunbow cartoon. I post, if you guys don't know, I post daily clips every single day of a few minutes from a GI Joe cartoon,
Major
and
contribution to our community. That daily bit. We all
yeah,
love it.
I that's one of the highlights of my. That's a great way to start my morning. Is
Fuck
excuse
yeah.
me, watching a short clip of GI Joe. But beyond that, one of the guys who really got it, GI Joe, and made it expand, like my favorite GI Joe runs is Brandon Jarrah did this series. He took over GI Joe from Josh Blaylock, who did great things with the series, but he understood the characters and he brought in so many obscure characters. Look, Shockwave is on the front of this cover. Okay,
Right.
that is Shockwave. He doesn't get a
Fuck yeah.
lot of airtime. Mercer is in here. Okay, you got Flint down here. I know he's kind of one of the ones you see more often than not. And then back there, we've also got Grand Slam. We've got Barrel Roll. You've got Spirit. You just got some Joes that you never see. And he was the master. Brandon Jerwa is the master at taking obscure Joes and making them awesome. Chuck Dixon with his GI Joe series, he made GI Brotherhood relevant. Did you ever read that issue? I sent you a Beachhead and Tripwire mucking through the Mayan temple.
I did. But it was at night. I was high as shit, so I might not remember it all. But absolutely, no. I was stoked to get into that one.
Yeah, no, and so Brandon Jerwa, Chuck Dixon are some of my favorite GI Joe writers. I am going to get crucified for the next comment I'm going to make. Hang on, I think I've actually got one of his comics over here. I love what Aubrey Sitterson did with GI Joe.
Okay.
Joe, I'm going to get killed for this. By the way, they're going to be making fun of me in the comics. This is he did something really fun with GI Joe, and he made it ridiculous and over the top. And it doesn't sit right with a lot of people, but it really does a great job of taking those crazy concepts that were in the cartoon and made them fun and made it just it's just one of the most fun GI Joe series out there. And I wish it had gone on longer,
Nice.
but there was a lot of other stuff. Go ahead.
So that's a guy who was writing in those comics for a period of time.
Yes, Aubrey Sitterson wrote for I think he wrote only like 11 issues,
Okay.
and he was basically kicked off of the title. To be honest with you, he got into some fights with some people on some Facebook groups. It was a wild time to be a Joe fan,
Oh
and a lot
wow.
of people would rather forget it. But I went back and read him this year, and for the first time, actually reading him, and I was just like, this is actually really good, and he
Nice.
gets the GI Joe characters, but yeah, that's the hill I'll die on alone. So
I love it.
anyway,
I love
yeah.
it. That's a good highlight, of something that anybody listening can go back and try to find those because all these comics are mostly readily available digitally. I mean, maybe behind a
Yes.
paywall, but I'm sure you can find anything that you're mentioning somewhere on the internet.
So yeah, we got to talk about that actually because the only GI Joe comics that are legally available right now are the first 50 issue digitally are the first 50 issues of Larry Hama's run. There will be more available later this year, or the current Energon Universe comics. When IDW lost the license, all of it
Hmm.
disappeared.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
you can pirate them. Just going to be upfront with you. There's ways to pirate them and find them
Sure.
online.
Sure.
And but I own most of them, so I don't mind pirating them when I need to reference them. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple of years we'll have a complete GI Joe archive. Get on that, Skybound, please. I
Right.
need it.
For sure, for real, for real.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I love your love for those comics. So did you kind of touched on some of the figs that you had collected through the years. Do you have a top five? Yeah, I mean, you can name as many as you want, but a
Yeah.
top five of what the 3 3/4 were?
Ooh. Okay. Mm. I'll just give you a couple off the top of my head that I love.
Perfect,
Let's just
perfect.
do that. Let's just do that. Grand Slam from 2005.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay.
we're going deep cuts here because I
Oh,
love
okay.
the weird stuff. Okay, like I said, it's an incredible figure. If they just scaled that up and used that kind of design styling and classified, I'll be a very happy man.
Awesome.
We loved that figure as kids. Ace from 2004. He has a normal, realistic flight suit like what would have been used in the Iraqi War at the time. You would have seen that it was that exact,
Yeah,
very realistic look. I love in the Pursuit of Cobra line, there is there's a lot of good. Pursuit of Cobra, it was before Classified, it was the best G.I. Joe toy line. I had Crazy Legs. I had from that line. I had Lifeline. Those are some of the best figures ever made. And
nice.
then yeah, let's go back to the vintage, to the original, because so many of those are so good. Outback is incredible. Outback.
Outback is
Okay,
amazing.
let's start talking about the stuff people know. Beachhead, unbelievable figure. I love that
Absolutely.
one.
That's
Love
my
that one.
101. You know
Yeah.
that. It's my 101.
So the only 3/4 inch figures I own that are not in a bin for my son, I have a bunch of Valor versus Venom in a bin for my son. Okay,
Nice.
but the two vintage figures I own are Snake Eyes from 1985. I could not sell him. It's beautiful,
Love it.
beautiful. And
That's it.
then
Iconic figure.
Psych Out from 1987.
Oh, nice. Oh, you do have a psych out. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Nice.
I
That's
have
what's
a
up.
complete Psych Out with a file card, and it's on my work desk, so I see him every single day.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, so I think I sent the picture. I have the figure, right? That's
Yes.
my OG figure from when I was a kid.
I love that
And
so
I've
much.
been looking around trying to find it's like every little kit that I see on eBay is like, oh, it's got the main backpack dish, but not the arm ones, or
Yeah.
something's always missing. So I'm just like, I'll find
He's
it eventually.
cheap. He's cheap when you find him because there's not a lot of psych heads out there. But by the way, if y'all are watching, you don't know this. Psych Out is probably my favorite GI Joe character. Like, when I say that, look, Duke and Beachhead are always going to be two of my favorites, right? But I think I like Psych Out because he's just so weird, right? But he played such an important role in the comics, so I love him.
I mean, I think I always liked them back then. I didn't think that the dishes looked weird. I thought that always
Yeah.
looked great, right? I thought that was cool, and I liked how his uniform was. How his uniform had like the chest protector plate, and then just I don't know his I don't know. I
Yeah.
loved it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he was awesome. I was so happy when I found so that I have the three I've got now, the mainframe, the Shockwave, and the Blizzard
Yes.
that I bought off of eBay to, whatever. I'm probably going to try to get a Beachhead, an Alley Viper, obviously. Oh, I got a scrap iron. I don't know if I even posted that, or maybe I did. Yeah, I found it
Yeah,
was
I think
it was,
you did.
yeah, he didn't have his actual the pistol, but I mean it's all about the rocket launcher,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That was it for me. If I find the pistol at one point, that'll be awesome, but otherwise I'm not sweating it that much. But yeah. And then so obviously you've moved on to the to
Yes.
classifieds. Um, when did you discover classifieds? Like me, I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. I famously, as I kept saying, I legit saw the Alley Viper, and it didn't
Hmm.
hit me then.
Yeah.
That they were out there, and when I remember when I saw that, it was that Alley Viper hit like drugs, man. That was some
Yeah.
shit. But when were you around from day one with classified?
So not really, but I was aware
Okay,
of it. So like every time over the years from like, because I stopped collecting figures in like 2013 or 12, and even then I wasn't buying that many. Went to college and there was almost no GI Joe put out during those years. And so like, but every year, like Comic Con would come around, I'd be like, are they doing something with GI Joe? That's what I
right,
wanted to see, right? And I kind of moved on to other things because we didn't have anything. We were getting comics that people hated. Like nothing good was happening in the Joe world. And like in 2019 when they announced Classified, I was like, those are dope. Those are
right,
cool.
right,
But and I thought if I see him in person, I might pick him up. But I was so heavily into rebuilding my Lego collection at the time, I didn't have room for them.
right. Spence,
And
like, and then Legos ain't cheap, brother.
no, they are not. I mean, look, like all that behind you there, I have as much of that in Lego. It's all in boxes, but I have that much Lego. It's
No
insane.
shit. That's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
it's
Uh,
it's nuts.
Pop Cult Frenzy says he discovered Classified walking through Target, and he was just like, "Wow, that looks like Scarlet." As it turns out, that
It
must have been
was.
Scarlet, brother. Was
Stevie
it the
Z says he got
retro
told
Pop Cult
Commander.
Frenzy? Did you see the retro, or was it the or was it the what is she? Oh four, oh five, number 4 or 5?
Yeah. So yeah, no, like, but I didn't collect them until 2 years ago. I started.
Nice.
Lego pissed me off. They did a lot of stupid. They've done a lot of stupid things over the last couple of years, and I just got out of Lego altogether. Pop Cult said it was Wave One, Scarlet, the first
Oh,
one.
nice. That's what's up. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah. So, but I fell backwards into it because now I wasn't spending money on Legos, so I was like, I'll tell you what got me into back into classified though. What finally made me pull the trigger because I would walk past, I'd be, oh, cool, they're doing Stalker now. I'm like, we're all right. We're getting a little deeper because
Right.
that was one of
Right.
the things, right? I'm like, I didn't want to get into it, and they do like 4 waves and they're done,
Right.
which is
Yes.
typical Hasbro
Yes.
fashion, right?
Right.
I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
I'm like, nah, they got to start. I was in the flea market because again, I frequent flea markets. I saw Shockwave. I'm like, dog, they made Shockwave. I guess I'm in,
Nice.
and it was a few months before I got into the line. The first one I got was Snake Eyes 51 or 52, the one
Yep.
with the timber.
Yep.
Yeah.
52.
And I was like, this is like the most perfect action figure I've ever seen.
It's
And it
awesome.
still is. It's
It's
still
an
good.
incredible figure.
Yeah. I got Roblox after that and Tiger Force Duke. And I'm like, oh
Fuck
no,
yeah.
we're going all the way in. So,
That's what's up. Shockwave was the third one I bought. So I saw the Alley Viper. I had
yes.
gotten that one, and then I was like, obviously, Destro Designs. I was like, I've got to get the Destro. But at the
Mhm.
time, that thing was $50. I
Yeah.
think it's gotten cheaper, but everywhere I looked, it was $50.
Mhm.
And then what was funny is I ordered it for myself, and my wife actually bought it for me for Christmas at the same
Oh, that's
time.
cool.
So,
That's
but
so
that's
cool.
fine because now I'll have I have the retro carded Destro classified. I have the mainline Destro in the classified. I have carded the Iron Grenadiers and the regular Destro in the 3 3/4, and I can kind of put them
Nice.
all together, and it looks pretty cool. So I
That's
will
great.
have like a sealed Destro corner.
Yeah,
Is the
by the way, I wanted to say something about Destro. I've got the retro sitting on my desk, and then I saw that promo you did of Duke and Destro together, and I'm
Yep.
like, my God, that first Destro looks so much better than the retro. So I'm gonna get one next time I see him.
So the retro, I think I actually got it right there. I've never actually put them together. I don't know what is different. I think I'll never find it over there. I have a pile of
Yeah,
shit.
no. The
But
retro
yeah,
has
no,
the eyebrows. You know how the cartoony had those big, thick eyebrows?
yes.
The retro has the eyebrows, and it throws me off every time I go to photograph him. It just doesn't look right. So,
You know what? You're right. I can see the retro from here, and hold on.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
he's those eyebrows are so thick they're peeking through the beryllium steel.
right. Dude, that is a little crazy. You're right. I've never spent too much time looking at this one. This is one of those things that I just
Yeah,
bought to have, and you put it right in the fucking box.
exactly.
Yeah, it's so. I'll tell you. Sometimes I feel like every once in a while because like I only have so much time, and I do
Yeah,
so much different shit down here. Legitimately, I think I've skyrocketed to like 220 figures, and
yeah,
I don't know, probably 100 something of them are still in the box. I've never,
yeah,
like all I've done is kind of opened as I shot. I opened up a bunch in the beginning. That very first thing that I did, the GI Joe Silent Serpents prologue, where there was a shot at the end of
yeah,
that
yeah.
where I showed it was Cobra and a bunch of like the blue troopers, and the infantrymen, and then it was the Iron Grenadiers, and then it was the Crimson setup. So they all got opened at once, and then I did and then Joe's. I only showed Beachhead, Night Force Falcon, and Duke with General Hawk in the
Okay.
Joe's part of that there. So
Yeah.
those were the only Joe's were open. I will admit this. So fun story. Everybody's gonna have a laugh at this. So at one point, it's been it's been 9 months since I started collecting, and
Mhm.
so I have these periods where I just buy a fuck ton,
Yeah.
and to the point where I have shit show up, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I saw that on eBay and ordered it. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Um, and so at one point when I was planning that scene, the Night Force Falcon is in there because even though I read it in my head, that was Flint. I don't know
Yeah.
why. So
Mhm.
when I was planning that, I'm like, okay, on one side of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
table, I'm going to have General Hawk, and then the other side, I'll have his immediate command, which would be Duke, Flint, then Beachhead.
Yeah.
And the day I was setting it up, I looked and I was like, that's not Flint. And I kind of came and I got the package and I looked at the package and I was like, it's definitely not Flint.
Yeah.
So on the
Okay.
fly, I was just like, I made a story where I was just like, part of the story was like, oh, you're going to head up Night Force. So I brought you into this
Yeah.
meeting, not that the guy
Well, I
doing it's
mean,
an idiot and thought you were fucking
okay,
Flint.
that's the thing that annoys me about Falcon, though. He should always be in the upper echelon of command. He's literally a lieutenant. He's one of the higher ranking. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Listen.
that
I love Lieutenant Falcon now. I did not like the character before I got the classified figure, and everybody hates the face. I don't think it's that bad, but whatever. But
right.
like the character clicked with me for the first time because I read his 87 file card, and his 87 file card depicts him as you throw this guy in the bush, okay, and he will find the local natives and he will rally them to fight Cobra, get the mission done, and then you're just gonna go pick. He'll walk out of the bush and you pick him up and you leave. That's his literal file card. Like that is amazing.
Nice. So yeah, there's but that yeah, the Night Force Falcon is pretty
Yes,
awesome. Like
it is.
that 2-pack with Coral is really nice. There's so much gear. They really don't fuck around with them 2-packs, right?
No,
Now
not at all.
it's reused stuff, but like the one the I don't have it, but the Mad Marauders Spirit and
Yes.
Lowlight, is that the
Hmm.
one?
Yeah, it
Tons
is.
of gear in there.
Yes.
That sniper rifle that Lowlight has, I believe, is the same as the Arctic Bat, but it's just a
Yeah,
different color. You know,
I think
I
so.
think
Yeah.
I think that's pretty sweet. So yeah, I considered going back and redoing that prologue again because it was the first thing I did.
Yeah.
I've gained a lot, you know, so I thought about going back and redoing it, but at the same time, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, the voiceover thing has been an issue. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm doing it as well as I want to be. I've practiced some a little bit because I would really like to do that series
Yeah.
of the movies, but to be honest, it's a lot that goes into that. And right now with doing it, I kind of like just building the dios and taking some
Yeah.
shots and, you
It's
know,
a lot.
being like a married to the story of trying to make everything for this one thing is it was
Yes.
making it not fun. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And that's
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I get it, man. It's a lot to set up those pictures. So,
it,
what do you
it
have
is.
next on your list? Let's list. What else you got
Let's,
for me?
well, let's see. So we went through, you were kind of you've been collecting for like 2 years and, do you have a top five? Do you have a list of ones that are or just a list of
Yeah.
standouts to you? Like, what do
I'll
you like?
just top because I was thinking about this earlier because you asked me about it ahead of time. Look, top classified figures off the top of my head. Not Tiger Force Outback is incredible. Colors
Yep.
pop, everything. It's a perfect figure.
It's one of the
Shooter,
best ones, without a doubt.
yes. Shooter, incredible. One of my
Yep.
favorites to photograph. Her weapon, terrible. Replaced it with a Voliver sniper rifle, perfect. Um, and then Big Ben. Big Ben is probably my favorite classified figure.
Really?
Do you have that one?
I do. Hold on, I'm gonna pull him out right here. He's right here somewhere. Coincidentally, I have not opened Big Ben yet. He
Yeah.
is definitely right here somewhere.
Yeah. He's incredible. I love Big Ben. One of my
Here, we're gonna
favorite
crack him
figures.
open real quick.
Let's go. Let's go. I got to throw some Cobras in here too because if you haven't noticed, I lean more towards GI Joe than I do Cobra. For whatever reason,
Yes,
I am a
I have
Joe. I
noticed
don't
that.
know.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
actually noticed that. I noticed it because I'm kind of the opposite. I've always like the first, I would say, like some ridiculous thing of like 55 of the first 60 I bought were all Cobra.
Well, I'll tell you because you saw my desk earlier, and my desk at work right now is all Cobra characters. So,
Oh, okay. Yep.
but they're some of the best. Okay, so the first major blood release is a perfect figure too. Okay,
Yep.
unbelievable.
Yep.
Cobra Island is amazing. I love it so much. The Baroness from the Rattler, another perfect figure.
Uh,
Absolute standout. I can't wait to photograph it.
uh,
And
I'm
then,
I'm
go
still
ahead.
in shock at how big the Rattler is. You know, my local
Yeah.
GI Joe buddy I've talked about, he had two of them next to each other, and it was the whole table. It was the whole table.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely
Yep.
amazing. All right, so we got Big Ben here, straight out of the package, and he is glorious.
Yes, he is.
Yep. So a lot of detail. What I like about these bullets is that they have them kind of like they're all the way around, right? This isn't like the
Yes.
range Viper, how he's got the throw over belt. It's not that. It's all the way right up on there.
Yes.
I like this leg holster. It's like
Yeah.
beefy all the way around because you know
Mhm.
some of them just have like the big part where the gun goes and then it's a strap. But Homeboy is got a bunch of stuff there. Here, let me see if I can just put this down. Get my
And he
notes
is
out.
taller. He is taller than most classified figures, by the way.
You know, I was just holding him at the right angle a second ago, and I was like, oh yeah, look at that. He definitely looks
Yep.
older. So let's check out what he's got for extras. Ooh, I forgot he came with this little fucking Uzi.
Yes.
Oh
God
man,
love
hold on.
that gun.
Let me take that. He's got the long clip, the
Yep.
whole thing. So that's what slides right in that nice beefy belt. Oh man, holy shit. Yeah, bro, you ain't look at
Yep.
that.
It's perfect. I know. It's
That is fucking
incredible.
sweet. Let's
Stevie
see.
Z
Oh, and
asked, "Is he taller than Road Pig?" I don't think he is. He's just taller than an average GI Joe. So like Flint, he's tall. I know he's taller than Flint. I can't remember what other figures I put him with, but he is just a little. He's just slightly taller, right? He's one of those guys like you walk in the room, you gotta look up to him a little bit, but he's not like a mountain. Okay, but yeah, no,
ooh,
great figure. I
really nice.
love that
So
gun. Yes,
yeah, the Iron Grenadier bats, right? They came, or was it
the
the
regular Iron
the
Grenadiers
red? Yep,
reuse that.
they came with the red and the black. But that
Yes.
is amazing. I love the little ammo box that comes off and on, and then that nice little handle when you stick it in there. It's got see how it's got that angle to the dangle.
Mhm.
So when you put it in straight, it's looking really good.
Yes.
And then he's got this nice little extra. So where do they happen to have? Oh yeah,
It
this is
just clips
sweet. So
onto the front of the rifle. Yep.
okay, wait, this one does or the
Wait, is that the
that's
silencer?
for the Uzi. Sorry,
Okay, yeah,
my
that's
bad.
for the yeah, my bad. My bad. There's
Yep.
he has a rifle too, a double-barreled rifle, kind of machine
Yes,
gun looking thing. That one also got reused for the Iron Grenadier, but it's one of my favorite guns in the entire line.
definitely. Oop, I just popped that thing off there,
So
but
I lost that handle the first time I photographed him,
well, it
and it
just
was
came off, brother.
yeah.
Like so fucking easy.
Well, and I walked out and I was doing it in the rocks, like I where I take pictures, and
Right.
I couldn't
Oh
find it, so
man.
I took him back inside, and I came out later. I thought I'm gonna look for that stupid freaking handle. I found it.
No shit. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
So
Uh, Speaking of losing something, so I had all of my collection before I got the studio set up. My whole collection was out in the garage, and then I finally moved it inside. And when I
yeah,
transported the hiss, I had the hiss in its
yeah,
own tote. But what I did is I took that undermount gun that's in the front, and I stuck
mhm,
it in the cockpit. And I fucking overnight one night when I started, I was like at late at night, and I was unboxing everything out of the crate, and I couldn't find the gun. Like I was
oh,
so late, I was ripped. I opened up the thing, and I was like, oh man, I just didn't see it. Yo, I
yeah,
panicked all night. The next morning, I was on eBay trying to find one, and I was like, it's got to be down there somewhere. And I
yeah.
opened up the thing and found it. But yeah, man, I was so fucking. So yeah, there's that double barrel. That is pretty
That's
nice.
yeah.
I like that,
Most
and
said
that
most
is
in
the
the
same one
comments.
that
He
Iron
says he hates
Grenadiers
that
had.
mold, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
so
love it.
listen, brother, I think that's an interesting choice, and I love it. And real quick, while I've got it, I'm just gonna try to
Yeah,
throw a. You know what? I'm not gonna bother with it. We can just take a look at it. But
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
pretty dope
It is.
extra head sculpt to have.
Yeah, and
That
he
is
was
cool as shit.
designed. He was designed to be paired with Shooter too, and she has that really cool gas mask as well. So if you get the
Oh,
two of them
okay.
together, perfect. Yeah.
I love
Hmm.
it. Well, I tell you, you know what I wish though? I wish that they had, and this is something that does drive me a little crazy. So he's got the spot here for this in the back for the ammo belt, and he even has the spot for the nice silencer and everything. That is really sweet. But I wish they had a way that he could put this, like if they even if they came
Yes.
with a soft goods sling, like anything, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Something that could slip through. I just design and cut up that one thing that I do like, and I am gonna actually use that pretty soon on my Alley Vipers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go nuts with an Alley Vipers thing, but all right, that's a great shout, brother. I love it, and you know these things too are
Perfect
really
hard art.
sweet. I wish
Yes.
they had these for all of them. Now,
I do too.
obviously nothing is as awesome as the original card art, but this is pretty fucking sweet. You know, to have.
Yes.
I seen some people did some cool stuff where they put multiple of them together,
Hmm.
like a collage.
Build a collage. Yep.
They look amazing. Well, that's good. I'm glad you brought them up, brother, because now I've got the old Big Ben is out. I do have a something coming up soon with Night Force. I'll actually get into that a
Perfect.
little bit later. But yeah. So also, Ted, so that I love all the ones that you're interested in. I think that's pretty cool
Hmm.
that you have him as your number one. That's it. Anytime somebody likes something that nobody else really kind of says, but you know they stand
Yeah.
by it. I love it. Like Cletus of Cobra, my man out in the
Yes.
desert. His favorite 3 3/4 is the Stinger Driver. He
Yes.
every
Hmm.
time he's like, that's the greatest figure ever made, and and hey, that's when you
Yeah.
look at the paint choices, it's very awesome. Those
Yeah.
Cobra Troopers back then were really really sweet. I can remember as a kid, I loved them. I thought they
Hmm.
were with all the other troop builders that they had, that had so much more craziness, like the Bat or the Snow Serpent
Yeah.
or the Eel. The regular Cobra Trooper man did it for me. That post that you had made earlier in the week, where you were like, I wish they you highlighted
Hmm.
an example of them being badass by one of them snuck up on Snake Eyes in
Yeah.
that IDW issue. Is that what it
Yes.
was?
Yes. Hmm.
I,
Yep.
I thought I thought that was an awesome post. It was a real
Yeah.
cool way to highlight, how badass that they could be. Because
Yes.
right, Cobra's. I mean, every army you want to say has cannon fodder, but Cobra is not a Civil War style.
Yeah.
Coming at somebody like lined up troops. You don't have the meat curtain in the front like that. They
Yes.
have stuff like a lot in my mind. A lot of that GI Joe style and Serpents movie that I have in my head is based on that. There Why do you need to invade a country if your troops are already there? So
Yes.
many people have the Crimson Guard outfit in their closet or the Cobra Trooper outfit in their closet. They're
Yeah.
recruited by people like the Baroness and Major Blood. Like, hey, take this uniform, and when the day comes, we will take care of you, and you can come and help us. Like that
So
sort of thing. So
this is
having
where, yeah. So this is where I need to talk about this one. So not only do I have my head full of like GI Joe comics and cartoons and the file cards and all that, since I was like 15 or 16, I've put together this GI Joe concept that would work as a
okay,
TV show in my head. I've
I
never
love it.
written it out. I don't think I will, but I have this whole like crazy idea of how of a TV show, kind of like almost like Game of Thrones kind of level of insanity,
Okay,
where every single GI Joe character and Cobra character have a place in this story. They might just be in the background, but they have a place in this organization.
hell
And
yeah,
like I have spent hours over years just in my head when I've got downtime, just thinking, how does the Cobra organization function? What's the difference between a trooper and a viper? So
that's awesome.
yeah, my head's
Our
full of
boy,
this nonsense.
Big Red had talked about he's had something brewing in his head about the Cobra Command, like the
Yes.
upper echelon of the pyramid there.
Hmm.
That I love that shit. I can listen
Yeah.
to people talk about their idea of what their head canon, like
Yes.
what it is that they think it should be, or the way that it goes. So I put his awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. You
Awesome.
turned me on to it big time. I love it. Fucking great. Dude, so that's cool.
Hmm.
And dude, you've got quite a good collection. I think we talked about it before, but we can touch on it again real quick. The philosophy of collecting that,
Yeah.
you have a pretty good idea of, I'm gonna kind of focus and get these particular ones. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. So let me take a drink of water here.
No, for sure. Oh my, I'm dying
Okay.
to. I'm reaching down for it myself.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So here's my philosophy is when I started collecting classified, I was like, I'm not going to be a completionist. But here's where it's at. I will buy one of every character they release if I like the character. If I don't like the character, if I don't like the figure, I'm not getting it.
Perfect.
I try not to buy more than one of a character. I do have multiple Snake Eyeses and Dukes, but I only have like I think I max out at 3 Snake Eyes figures. It's going to be 4 when V4 starts.
Okay.
It happens, but look, I here's the thing about GI Joe and collecting, and this goes for anything. If you don't love it and you're just putting money into something you don't like, you're wasting your money, guys. Like, come on. It's why I don't collect Transformers. I love Transformers. I hate having to transform them. Okay,
Right.
I love
Right.
Transformers lore. I love all of that. But look, it's not worth it. And so there's a lot of classified figures I will never buy because it's fine. I don't need them. And so I try to only buy one of every figure, like I said, or one of every character, and then I have rules set for troop building. No more than 6 or 7 Cobra Troopers. If it's a specialist, like Frag Vipers, Televipers, I'll get maximum of 3.
There you
That's
go.
my rule. Yeah. And another thing too, when you're collecting classified, you got to plan for the future. Like space is going to become an issue. My
I was
favorite troop builder is the Iron Grenadiers. I would love to
nice.
have 7 of them, but I
They're
only
awesome.
have 3 because we're going to get a ton more Iron Grenadiers in the future. We're going
Give
to
us
get an
that
Iron.
version 8. Give us that
Yeah,
version 8, you
let's
cowards.
go, please. Yes, I want a version 8. I want um I want them to do a retro Iron Grenadiers.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Look, the Iron Grenadiers is one of the ones they deviated the most from the
Right.
original design. I'd like to have the original design. And
They
there's
did.
a way you
They
can make
did.
that work.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree.
DVD said he didn't like Big Boa, so he didn't buy him. And by the way, that's another thing. I got to the
I didn't
bottom
get them
of
either.
yeah, I had a ranking list in my head, and Big Boa and Quick Kick were at the bottom of the list. And the only reason I got him is because one of our brothers in the Facebook group, I was buying a bunch of other stuff from him that I really wanted. He made me a deal on those. So I said, all
Right.
right, barbecue,
Right.
one of the last figures I got.
I
And
I
so,
have a lot of figures that came in deals like that where I was like, you know what?
exactly.
I'll do something with it. I'll give it as a gift or like
Mhm.
or something like that. I also my nephew, he's not as into it as I wish he was, but when I give him a new one, he's pretty excited about it, right? It's not like something he doesn't run home and burst through the door and is like, oh, give me my classifieds. But at the same time, it's good.
Yeah.
It's nice to have somebody like that to buy a couple for. I started him out with I think when he came over and when I had him in the garage, the no, they were in the shop
Mhm.
and he had come over and I had a bunch of them out and he pointed at what was it, the Crimson Viper and
Yeah.
the Crimson Bat, like the red ones. He really was like, oh, those
Yeah.
are the ones. So I had gotten him those. And then, of course, because it's cheap, he got a Tiger Force Dusty. Everybody gets a Tiger Force Dusty because
Yes,
it's
they do.
it's 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 $11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, the best deal ever was like, some people have gotten definitely better deals, but I had the Tunnel Rat. The Night Force
Yes.
Tunnel Rat was on sale for $10 at
That's
Walmart.
awesome. Yeah.
I just bought 3 of them because he comes with so much gear and everything that is just I
Mhm.
couldn't pass up on that. And the same thing, like, oh,
Yeah.
and here my nephew will get one. So yeah,
Yeah.
awesome,
So,
awesome.
yeah, well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did pass on Night Horse Tunnel Rat, even though it's a great deal for the figure, because I was like, I don't need 2 Tunnel Rats. I already got one I like,
And
and
and and the OG one though, I love Night Force. I
yes.
absolutely it's I don't want to say it's my favorite sub team because I really like the Iron Grenadiers and
Mhm.
Python Patrol, but it is something that I enjoy very much. But at the same time, out of all the characters in Night Force, potentially the OG Tunnel Rat might be better. And I say that because there's something about I don't know how they did. I'm saying this, and I don't own the OG. I only have the Night Force. But there's something about like the tan pants. They're like they have the boot cut style pants. Just something about it just
Yeah.
really hits. It's a super good one. That the first time, next time I get a chance to kind of pick one up, I think it's even though I only have it, it's good. But yeah, so that's great. That making decisions like that for space and
Yes.
financially, like you're saying, it's
Mhm.
one of those things where you may want to get it, but it's it at first I felt a little bit of a completionist, but at
Mhm.
the same time I understood that there was just too many that I didn't want to get. So
Exactly.
I had to figure out a way to
Mhm.
not do it like the blue ninjas. I just can't give a shit,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I'm not real big on ninjas that aren't Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
For
I
the
get
most
it.
part.
I totally
Uh,
get it.
yeah, it's they're fine. I
Mhm.
ninjas as a whole are fantastic, but for some reason it's just like. With that being said, I've seen some pictures of that Kamakura, and that looks like a pretty cool figure. I think there's some good extras in
Kamakura
there.
is amazing. Kamakura is an incredible. I should have mentioned that in my list earlier. Kamakura is one of my favorite figures, and
Yeah,
he does not get talked about enough. It's so good.
yeah. I somebody had a picture that was just looked real good, and I kind of
Yeah.
like looked into it a little bit more,
Mhm.
and like anybody time I saw a picture of it, I was like, oh, you know what? I think I might have to get that one too. But also space even for me where I'm getting to a point where I right now this is very temporary, right? I've talked about this
Yes.
before. I'm in the middle of the remodeling and I have to decide when I'm gonna make the thing. I've actually made a decision today that so this part of the studio is in this half of the basement.
Hmm.
I'm only finishing thoroughly the other half. I was just going to put a subfloor and then maybe a couple lights up top, and that was it to this area. And in order to do that, I'd have to package everything here, which you only see a little bit. This fucking
Yeah.
shelf and everything goes, it wraps all the way around. I'm surrounded by all these different shelves and shit. I've overdone it. All the dial parts and everything is down here, and it's nuts. And I'd have to pack all this up, move it to the other side of the basement while I put a subfloor down just with this little dry core panels. And I'm like, you know what? This is fucking fine. I don't want to
Yes.
deal with, and the packing everything. I could also do it later because I'm on a tight schedule with this remodel where once I'm done with the basement, I have to go start going the second floor, and then at the same time I'm doing the second floor project and ripping the whole side of my house off with a porch and making it part of my kitchen. And I have friends that are coming to help on a schedule, so it's like I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna maybe whatever, and then it saves me the hassle of having to do this. So yeah, I will be building something for the display,
Mhm.
but until then, all my figures will stay in the what you would call it, in the
Yeah.
package. But that to the point that that is a huge factor for me where I start to think about, I like troop builders. So where I do also have a number, at first it was 4. So a lot of the ones that I got for troop builders was 4. I always kind of said, well, Alley Viper is like my favorite for sure. So maybe I'll just get a few more of those. And I did. I think I'm up to 13. So the latest that I got was from our boy, the tanker,
Yeah.
Ryan Barnhill. He sold me 4 of these. So he got his trench.
Mhm.
I think he might have got 4 trench vipers. He gave up 4 alley vipers, but he kept everything except for the shield, the pistols, and the knives. Right. So what
Yeah.
I'm actually doing is right here. So I'm going to take these 3 backpackless figures and arm them up with this. This is
Oh,
3
sweet.
bazooka setups.
That's awesome. I love
So
it.
I got some synthetic. This is going to be the first thing I'm going to try dyeing. So I've got navy blue synthetic dye. I'm going to do the backpack navy blue and then spray paint the missiles the orange. I've got that bright ass orange.
That'd be awesome. That'd be
And
very
then
cool.
I actually have one of the Gatling guns that come in like the Ram cycles. I have 2 of those that I've already painted navy
Yeah.
blue and orange. So it's going to be like a heavy unit, and then I'll just have the rest of them in the back. So yeah,
That's cool.
I was like, okay, I'm only going to get I'm only going to get extra of the Alley Viper. Everything else will stay to 4 or less. And then it was, I think the next dam that broke on that was the Python Patrol Viper,
Yeah.
where I had gotten them on eBay. They were like $10
They're
or it
great.
was like I was getting a bunch of them at like $14 shipped. And when I
Yeah.
see that, I'm just like, how do I say
Yeah.
no
You
to
can
this?
pass on that.
I can't pass on that. So I kept
Yeah.
buying them. And then famously, I got what brought me over the hump where I now have 26 is CG Horror sent me one. And my local GI Joe guy, I don't know if I actually said this, the local GI Joe guy, he sold me 15 of them for $10 a piece.
That's great.
I couldn't say no to
That's
that.
so cool.
Yeah, that's how I did that shot. I actually stood them all up on the shelf up there. When I have them all super tight together, I'm happy that I made that decision, right?
Yeah.
So limiting what I do buy for things
Yeah.
that I'm like kind of on the fence about allows me to space wise do shit like that and financially
Yeah.
too.
You
The
got to be
one thing,
choosy.
right. The
You got to
one
be
thing
choosy.
though that I did, hold on, right? Yeah, the one thing that I did want to get though, and have complete was that first wave, that first
Yeah.
5, the Roblox, Snake Eyes, Destro, Scarlet, and Duke. It just
Yes.
felt right, right? That's the
Hmm.
first wave of them coming back,
Yeah.
all of the iconic figures. And I was like, all right, I do want to get those, even though like the retro Scarlet is the one I want to use, right? I had to
Yes.
buy that Scarlet, and the same thing with the Roadblock. I already had the number 11, the Cobra Island one, but I was like, oh, I need to get this number 1
Yeah.
and have those first 5. So as far as being like a completionist, I feel like that's kind of it, but maybe in a
Yeah.
way where if they have a sub team, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm probably going to want all the Night Force, right?
Yeah.
If they come out with any more Python Patrol, I'll most likely want that. Same thing with like an Iron Grenadiers. But in terms of just a completionist as a whole, it's not.
Yeah.
So
My rule of sub teams is only get one of each color generally.
Right,
So I'm, whenever Night Force, or whenever a normal Ripcord drops, because all we have right now is Night Force Ripcord, I'll sell my
right,
Night Force Ripcord.
right.
Is my plan right now, unless I like it better than the one they actually release whenever they do a retro of him, which I'm sure will be next year. But yeah, I don't have I don't have Outback in his regular colors. I do have
Me
Duke.
neither. Yeah,
I
me
have
neither.
Duke and Tiger Force and in the regular and I got both of those in lots, to be honest with you.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, no, if they did like Tiger Force Flint, Tiger Force Roadblock, Tripwire, I just passed on them. So
Yeah, same thing. I didn't get that 2 pack either, and it's a little bit of a shame in a sense that it's got, it's a cool 2 pack, but dude, that tripwire, the OG tripwire, and
yes,
honestly, Tiger Force is hit or miss with me. I either really like the figure or I'm just kind of like,
yeah,
and the Tiger Force tripwire doesn't do it for me. Not just in comparison to the OG, but just it just looks weird. I don't know.
yeah.
It's hard to say with a line that's full of weird figures that it looks weird, but I feel like it is. But yeah, so that's yeah, to put a bow on that portion of it, I definitely
Yeah,
think it's definitely important to limit what you buy
yeah.
based on what you like and financially and like just I mean I feel like everybody is responsible. I joke about being irresponsible. I'm never spending money I shouldn't. Should I put some of this money in my retirement? Maybe, but this is what makes me happy now.
Hmm.
Not having GI
I
Joes
get it.
when I'm dead doesn't make me happy.
Yep,
Having GI Joes now makes me happy. So
I get it.
that's for sure. And so one thing that I always like to think about too, upcoming, like is there any figures that you would really like to see hit that classified line that they haven't announced yet?
You know what I'm gonna say?
Oh, right.
Let's go.
Right,
I
right,
need my
right,
Psych out, boys. I don't care
right.
if it's Night Force. I don't care if it's Tiger Force. I need Psych. I need
Just
Psych
give me
out
something.
just right now. Let's go. Put in my hand, please. I need Psych out. As far as other characters that we need, I think okay. And I don't want to. And I don't want y'all to hear me saying something I'm not saying. Okay. Once you start getting a lot of GI Joe characters, at a certain point, it's a bunch of white guys that all look the same. Okay, they're not real. There's not. You start getting to a point where there's not as many unique characters in it. Okay, that's
Right,
all I was saying there. I need to be clear. That's all I was saying.
right, right, right.
Um, and so I would like to see a character like Bomb Strike. She's a female character that was very important to the important to Hama's continuation in the IDW. I'd love to see a figure of her. I would love to see a figure of Dawn Moreno. She takes up the mantle of Snake Eyes. That's the female Snake Eyes you've probably seen.
That's got to be the
Um,
most requested thing. Every she's on everybody's list.
yes, yeah, I love her. I'm very excited for the possibility of seeing her.
Absolutely.
Seeing her. As far as other Joes, I would want to see. This is a weird one. Downtown.
Nice.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
I'd
Okay.
like to see downtown. I'd like to see downtown.
Now that's a
I
Battle
would.
Force guy, right? Is he one of the Battle Force guys?
No, he is 89. He wears a blue shirt and kind of orangish pants, and he was a mortar soldier. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I do
yeah.
think okay. I do think I remember that now. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if I have it here. No, I don't in this box. But there's an issue of IDW's comics very early on. Chuck Dixon uses him as the Joe's lawyer, and it was used to comedic effect. And then they put him out on a mission, and he is surviving with CoverGirl and Tripwire, and it's an amazing issue. And so just off of that one single issue, and he doesn't get any other appearances really after that. I want Downtown.
Nice.
In Cobra, I want Blackout. By the way, Blackout is the evil brother of Bomb Strike. And then they also have a brother named Barrel Roll, too. I'd love to have all
Barrel
of those
roll. No
characters.
shit.
Yeah.
That's good intel. I didn't know they were all connected in that way. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then I'd love to have this guy, long range. I don't know if I got a good view of him here. Actually, let me take him out of the plastic here.
There we go. There we go.
See here.
Uh,
By the way, if they do downtown, I want them to work on the color scheme because he had like a bright red helmet. Somebody mentioned that here actually. Big Red mentioned he had a red helmet. It just the figure didn't look right, but when Robert Atkins was the artist on that series. He did an incredible job of taking those weird characters and really making them stand out. Hang on. That is long range.
Nice.
Ponytail, giant sniper rifle. He was basically their vehicle driver. He was kind of their clutch in Sigma 6. I would love to have him. Great character. Always loved him. Somebody in the comments here, Pulp Colt says he wants Scoop. I would love Scoop. Scoop is in one of my favorite comic stories, the Cobra series by Mike Costa. I love that. I love the Scoop story arc. Um, Man, I'm trying to think of some others here. Cobra characters, we've done so many Cobra characters now that are good. We're running out of Cobras, to be honest with you. And so, but I would love to see some from the comics. You know what? I've got a really cool cover here of a cool character that I don't know if you know about this guy or not. Where did he go? PDP. I have these organized with little tabs, so I can usually find what I'm looking for pretty quickly, but not this time because I forgot which folder. Here it is. This is a con exclusive cover. I don't have many exclusives, but this is a guy named Wrath, and
Oh,
he is
okay.
almost Snake Eyes' equal. He had a suit that would make him invisible,
Wait, did
and
they made a 25th
they
anniversary figure,
did.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, here's
Nice.
Roadblock clonking him over the head, but and with his
Nice.
machine gun, yeah. And loved him. This issue has another Joe that I would really like to see. He is, and I use Quarrel as this in my Joe verse, but there's a Joe named Mirage, and he had just a couple of weird figures, and then they brought him back in 2002 and did a really cool recolor. So I would love to have him. Stevie C
Nice.
just mentioned Zanya. Oh, that'd be perfect.
That'd be awesome.
Voltar, gray one. I want Overkill too. He also Rock also mentioned Overkill. Overkill is one of my favorite GI Joe or Cobra characters. I love Overkill. I actually have somewhere here. I have his first appearance in comics where he
Nice.
actually is Overkill. So,
That's what's
yep,
up. CG horror with the great shout, October Guard. We need that. We definitely
yeah.
need something popping off there. I'm surprised
Ooh.
that there hasn't
Talk-
been, some
yeah,
kind of, we're no longer in a Cold War with Russia, but there was a period of time, if you remember, they weren't making movies and stuff. They were like not trying not to put,
yeah,
Russia
yeah,
as the enemy. But I feel like then they weren't even our enemy; they were our friend, in the show.
yes.
So I'm surprised that
So,
we don't have it. That would be a cool sub team to have with maybe one of their own vehicles, to come out with. I mean, how cool
yeah,
would that be as like a
I would love
HasLab
it.
where you get like a troop carrier and you
Yes,
get the October Guard in it or something like that, where you're spending most of the money on these HasLab figures, where the troop
yeah,
carrier's fine, but it's not, a Hiss or a
yeah,
Snowcat. It's just something to kind of put them all in and sell them all at the same time.
yes.
That'd be something that I would absolutely be interested in.
Pop Cult Frenzy just mentioned too. Another one. He said Scalpel from Valor versus Venom. I
Ah,
need that. I need. He's Cobra's medic. Okay, and I desperately need that figure as well. So,
nice.
well, yeah, Scalpel was like, I'm like, why would Cobra not have a medic? They're always getting shot, or getting beat up here. Um, yeah, I don't think he's in this issue, but one of the in this he's in this series at some point, just as a background character. But I love background characters. When photographing GI Joe toys, I love the idea that there's these guys in the background who are still doing all of this background stuff. And then Snow Leopard, or see, was it Snow Leopard? Oh no, it was Roy. Roy just said, "I want Cesspool." Cesspool and Headman are my two most wanted villain characters. Those are the two I was
Nice.
building up to. Giant scar on Cesspool's face and make a killer figure, and then
Killer.
the Headman. I love the idea that Cobra is constantly getting annoyed with this guy that's trying to move on their turf, and he's somehow elusive to them. That's what I've got, and he's basically just a stupid drug dealer.
Right.
And I
Right.
would love to see them do a version of the Headman. I am running a little low on battery. I'm going to move over here to the couch, so I won't have my comics anymore. But we could still talk for quite a while because I'll have some battery. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely,
let's rock and
absolutely.
roll.
So beside the actual Hasbro line, is there any kind of favorites that you have in terms of secondary market stuff? I mean, I think everybody likes Gridiron guns, right?
Yes, Gridiron has some incredible stuff. To be honest with you, I haven't actually invested in a lot of secondary market stuff. I think some of the cool stuff you're showing off all the time. I'm going to have to jump in on that.
Nice.
I still haven't made a decision what it's going to be yet. I'm kind of running low on space at the
Right.
moment,
Right.
and I'm going to be moving quite soon, so I'm going to have to figure that out when I get there.
Right.
But in particular, I love what a fan's hobby did with the Skyhawk. I just wish it was smaller. That's the
Sure.
thing. To me, the Skyhawk should be a smaller vehicle. And so I don't know. I almost entered Jeremy's drawing for that the other day, and I forgot about it, and it got filled up before I had a chance to do that.
It's
So anyway, go
I
ahead.
swear to God, funny story. Multiple times I have been in a contest and jumped in like because he does
Mhm.
the live where he's doing the
Yeah,
elimination
yeah,
thing. Multiple times I have literally been like, oh, he's doing the drawing. Boop, clicked on it. And immediately when they go to it, it's my name being eliminated. That has happened, I think, 3 fucking times where I'm just like, oh God. So now I don't even do it. I
yeah,
just wait to hear who won. But I mean,
yeah.
it's one of those things. I got the high of winning. I won that Python Patrol lot. It was like 2 Trouble Bubbles and a bunch of Python Patrol figures, and and I won that. So now it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm definitely entering everyone. It's I mean, it's kind of one of those things like how bad if there's only 50 people doing it. I feel like if you
Hmm.
want to invest the money, if you buy 10 slots, your
Yep.
odds of winning are pretty good, right? I
Yes, they
mean,
are.
they're not 100, but
Yeah.
like I think he's doing I think he's doing another one for the Air Eagle, the Tiger Force one, and
Yes.
I'll probably buy quite a few slots because
Yeah.
that is a turbo thing. Those ones that he does is awesome. I really wanted to win the hiss.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the person that won it didn't have a hiss already, so
Hmm.
that makes me
Yeah.
happy. You know what I mean? This would have been my
Exactly.
second one. That's just being greedy. If there's somebody else out there that really needed one. So one of the things that a lot of people talk about too in with classified, it came up, I believe, Country Gentleman had a poll earlier in the week, and it was, how do you like your snake eyes? How do you want it, dog?
Mm.
Do
Okay.
you want the commando? Do you want the ninja?
Yeah. I think you sent me yours is like 65% commando, 35% ninja, right? Is that
Yep.
what how you worded it? I think that's exactly where I want to be. Again, my favorite version of Snake Eyes, the one I think about the most, is the one from Resolute,
Mm,
because yeah, he could throw down as a ninja, but most of the time when you see him outside of that fight with Storm Shadow, he's either using a gun or he's using more commando. He's using ninja stuff, but it just
right.
feels like he's more commando in that. So um, my favorite Snake Eyes classified figure is, like I said, the 52 or 51, whichever one it is, and
52. Yep.
yeah, because he's got the green pants on. He comes with a submachine gun. To
Yep.
me, that's just a perfect Snake Eyes. I might like it better if he had the goggles, but the night visor is so iconic at this point. You just got to roll with it.
It's super
Um,
iconic, and I think it does look really good. I
yes,
my boy Sis 3D Arsenal, he says commando all the way. You know it, brother.
yep,
So what I wanted to try to do is I CG Horror sent me the number 30, which is that is probably my favorite. That is almost full blown commando in a sense that that vest he has, he doesn't appear to be sneaking like
yeah,
it's a heavy loadout. I really like that one, but I would like to put the that head onto the number 52 body. Now I don't know if that works or not or whatever, but I feel like
I have no idea.
if you had the goggles onto that 52, it might actually look a little better. Maybe if there's a way I could customize some kind of a little more loadout, but the strap with the grenades
Yes,
is part of that iconic look with the
yeah,
visor, right? Because the
mhm,
version 2, it's got the belt. That's like the two defining things that they show on that version 2 is the strap across the chest with the 3 grenades and the visor. That's what makes them
yes,
different than the original one. He's just got like the belt with the suspender style, whatever on there. But that, yeah, so definitely, I think it's a little
yeah,
more of that. And then, like, one version of Snake Eyes that I think is pretty awesome is the 25th anniversary, the Winter Snake Eyes, right?
yes. I love
So
that figure. So good.
that's incredible, and I hope
Hmm.
that we get that for
Yeah, I do too. In a 2-pack with Quinn. That's my
I,
dream.
I don't know why they wouldn't two pack that with Quinn.
Yeah.
It seems I understand you, and unless of course they wanted to make them sell them individually, but make
Hmm.
them like deluxe in a sense that
Yeah.
you get a fuck ton of shit with Quinn. You get his big huge was that a Browning? I think yeah, his
I
big
don't
huge
remember.
Browning,
Yeah. It was
something like
crazy
that.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy gun. And then
Hmm.
same thing with Snake Eyes. Maybe he gets like just a bunch of stuff on top of it. But yeah, I've been looking. So I have, probably 15 something sealed 3 3/4, and I want to get that.
Yeah.
I want to get that winter Snake Eyes just even in a 3 3/4 to put
Yes.
into the whatchamacallit. Ooh, that's a really good one, bro. CG Horror, the SDCC 2026 should have Snake Eyes, Tommy, and
Yeah.
Stalker in Vietnam gear.
I
Yes.
would I would buy that. I don't know if I would be super excited about that, to be honest with you, because I'm kind of like with I want my GI Joe figures to be ones I can use right now. Like I can kind of say they're all in the same era, but I would still buy it because
Right.
like I said, 26 issue 26, that comic pack was the first one of the first way I got to experience any GI Joe comics. So yeah,
Nice.
incredible.
Nice. That's
But
awesome.
mhm.
Oh, and this was a question I just kind of threw in, and I
Yep.
didn't really have too much time to kind of think about it myself.
Mhm.
But do you see any actors or actresses that are like that you think would fit as good roles in a live action movie?
The only I've seen some people fan cast the guy that plays Reacher as Duke. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now.
Uh,
Alan Richardson. Alan Richardson, I
uh,
think.
that's it. Yep.
Yeah, Richardson. Anyway, and I think he would do well as Duke if that was what they chose to go with.
Right.
But if they okay, this is how I want to answer that question because I don't want a GI Joe movie. I think the lore of GI Joe and the way GI Joe is structured works so much better as a TV show.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that's the way
Yep.
I see it.
Okay.
And I don't think a movie in an hour you really are able. Resolute did it very well. Resolute did an incredible job, but I think we need a TV show. If show. So like you hand me the budget for a movie, I'm gonna be like, dog, we need a TV show.
I agree. It's hard to, what you're relying on in like even so Resolute, I agree. Resolute definitely did it perfect. But what you are relying on when you do it that way is that you're getting the diehards, right? It's very
Mhm.
hard to like bring in anybody new that doesn't know all this lore. Like
Yes.
like art like it would be I'd be hard pressed to find like an objective person that like doesn't know anything about
Mhm.
GI Joe, but is like,
Yeah.
here you show them something like Resolute, and are they as into it as we
Yes.
are? Do they appreciate it as much? That sort of thing always kind of like is the interesting crux of it. But when you have a TV
Yeah.
show, you then have that liberty to, you can build the different backstories and whatnot, and at the same time be
Yeah.
telling the news story. You could throw little
Hmm.
bits in, and then you don't have to worry about it, fucking up the
Yeah.
flow of
It,
an hour
and
and a
I
half
think
movie.
so. I think what you could do. This is my. If I was to do a lot, I would honestly prefer them to do a cartoon. If I'm being honest, but I do think you could do a live action GI Joe show that's about 8 episodes a season, and it could be
Mm,
ongoing. It could never end. And
right,
you
right.
take it. You kind of make it like James Bond in a sense. That's kind of the style you're going for. Where
Mm,
yeah, there's some pretty crazy tech out here. There might even be magic. Okay,
right.
James Bond was probably the wrong analogy here, but there might be magic here. There might be aliens somewhere. There's some weird fantasy elements that slowly seep into it. It's never overt. It's never in your face, but it's have you been watching Peacemaker, the TC shit comic show?
No, I have not. I have not. Dude, TV watching anything is incredibly hard for me because the
Yes,
second I'm
I
not
get it.
moving, I fall the fuck asleep.
I get it. I think the style and pacing of Peacemaker, where it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's having a good time with the show, and then it'll hit you with something really deep, and really take those characters to a fascinating place, that would be ideal. Pop
Mm,
Cult just said a special missions TV show would rock, and that is more what I'm getting at. You kind of
right.
have GI Joe is the code name for highly special mission force, and you could start the show with a series of seemingly unconnected villains of the week, and then you kind of, as it builds up, you realize, oh, they're all somehow connected in
Right.
this big web that is Cobra. So
Right.
you
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah,
That's a really good idea, and it really that kind of plays into, or at least I'm seeing it in my head, that idea of like how you can have an episode where the hidden element of the Cobra Troopers throughout the United
yeah,
States. So you'd like there's this
yeah,
uprising in the city, and there's like civil unrest, and you cause those kind of elements to
yes,
destabilize what is the unity of the country. And I think there's an endless stream of shit that you could do there.
yeah,
I mean, even if they wanted to like try to save money, you could literally just go like comic book by comic book,
yes.
and do almost like a one for one, slightly updated
Yeah, I
thing.
think you could take the Hama issues for 1 through 25 and you could do something really incredible. I would not adapt them word for word. I wouldn't do what they've done with like the Marvel animated movies back years ago, but
Mm,
I would definitely take elements from them and make it its own thing. Here's the thing. Like I said, I have this Joe headcanon that I've idea that's been in my head for years.
nice.
And it basically, the way in my head, I see it as being like 65 episodes, but the core cast would be Duke, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, Roadblock, actually Heavy Duty, and now it has some oddballs in there:
Right,
Meddler,
right.
Hard Drive, um, Drive, and eventually the female Dial Tone is what I had in my head. But they would be seeing these different threats. Like they would run into very early on, they would run into the Dreadnoks, they would run into Cobra Commander, but they don't realize how strong Cobra is yet, and that
Mm,
kind of thing. And
right.
slowly, Cobra Commander is bringing his web together of all these random criminal organizations. And so, for example, Destro is an industrialist that they keep having run-ins with,
Mm.
but in reality, and he wants to do the right thing, but Cobra Commander keeps roping him in, but he's greedy. So he lives by
Right,
a code of honor. So
right,
I have this really specific vision for Destro that will never happen. So I just need to write it out and throw it on the internet. But I just have these
right.
ideas in my head. So
it's
anyway,
yeah, no, I'm full of them, and I find that in the past, like say 6 months or so, that it's when I need to be focused at work on something, sometimes I cannot, because all I'm
yeah,
thinking about is this would look incredible if I put this figure here and this figure here, and
yes,
then came back. And it's like how am I going to build, this next dio, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I it's so hard to get around. It's I've had to put an amount of effort into making sure that I'm spending the time that I need, because some of these jobs where it happens, like I have to make decisions on the fly. And
yeah,
if I'm over here thinking about like that last Python patrol shot that I did, I'm not thinking about where this pipe is going to land 80 feet down the
yes,
way if I'm not looking at it where it is right in front of my face. So it's there's definitely an amount of that it takes. I mean, I'm sure everybody can tell that I'm truly obsessed, where that it's not just like, oh, I come down here and then
yeah.
I'm engaging with this stuff as I'm here. It's no, this is largely in my head the entire fucking day. And
I
that
get it.
that's and that's why I wind up like, I'm trying to do it in a sense where, like, so I'll always be doing the big dios. So like that Python patrol shot I've done, I'm sure everybody notices, like I've done a handful of shots from there. I did a bunch of stuff. I did the Mose mine there. I did some stuff for Sys 3D Arsenal on that. And then I just did that Python patrol shot because I had to take that down.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that thing was so big, and the way that the concrete was built into it, it couldn't just easily, I couldn't lift it and carry it
yeah.
anywhere. I literally had to take my jackhammer and my hammer drill and hammer apart the
That's
concrete and
crazy.
take it out in buckets, and then cut the wood up with my skill saw. I did that today.
That's
because
nuts.
I'm doing a bunch of, I was working in the base, the
Yeah.
remodel down here, and dude, holy shit. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I started
Yeah.
hitting that concrete with a hammer and it wasn't breaking apart. And I was like, oh, I used, high strength
Okay.
and, whatever, like an idiot. So I made that shot real quick because I knew I had to get that out of there. But so I'm always going to do the big ones, right? I feel like
Yeah.
the big ones are where it's at for me. I'm always going to be doing those. But when I plan them time wise, I also need to be able to have these smaller ones, right? To scratch
Mhm.
that itch. Because I think like a whole week goes by and I haven't made at least like one good
Yeah.
thing that I can put up. I feel like my ideas are blowing out of the side of my head. Stevie
Sure.
Z and I have talked about this a handful of times with having that those burning fucking desires to get this
Yes.
shit out of my head and onto the thing in front of me. But I it's not a negative. I look at it as it makes me happy thinking about all this stuff all day,
Yeah.
and it's what truly drives me to get it done. And that's to my point that the obsession is what has me out down here at
Yeah.
11, 12 o'clock at night. I'm getting up in 3 hours, and here I am acting like I'm 20 years old, just fucking down here taking pictures of my toys. It's hysterical.
Yes.
And then I'm exhausted the whole next day. And what
I
mental
get it.
power I have the next day is still being used to think about what song am I going to put to these videos? What one's going to look best?
Yeah.
Nice. So I love all the photos that you take. I've called you the posing wizard a lot of times. Now, do you use any stands or any of those hidden kind of things, or do you always get them able to just stand the fuck up?
Generally, I get them to stand up. The
Nice.
classified figures in Marvel Legends too have an incredible center of gravity that no other action figure I've encountered has. You can
Okay.
make them run. Like you
Nice.
can make them look like they're running, even with guns and such. And they have that's the other thing with that classified Snake Eyes. I was shocked at how I could pose him and how
Mm,
he could still stand up. I've
nice.
been doing this for a long time. I would pose all my Sigma 6 figures and then I would do three-quarter figures. Three-quarter figures would fall over immediately. The
Oh
Sigma
God.
6 actually stand up very well. But classified stand up so well on their own. Now, every figure I have on my shelf is on a stand because if you do knock one over, you're going to be pissed. But
Oh,
yeah, you've had it happen to
Hey,
you.
I've had when I did the Python Patrol thing. The first night, I set all of them up. I had two epic dominoes, and I can't believe I powered through. But yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Oh my god, yeah, you bump that over and that shit falls. It's
So
brutal.
the worst photo shoot I ever had. I don't know if you remember this or not, but I had one, and what it was is I just accumulated figures on my desk, work desk for weeks, and I thought I'm gonna go out into the field. There's a field next to my workplace. That's where 90% of my pictures are taken, is in that field.
Yep.
And I loaded up 8 random Joes in the Ram into a bucket, and I took them outside, and I start setting them up in the rocks, and a gust of wind would come through and blow them down
Uh,
every 3 minutes. It was horrendous. The shoot turned out okay. I'm still not thrilled with that one, but there
I
was a
did
lot
the
of
one
photos of
where
the shots.
you're talking about the one that you were in the rain. You took the pictures in the rain. That
No,
one.
this one was just a random one.
Mm.
I think I've got like Dusty and Breaker sitting on the ram, and they're both bandaged up. Was kind of how I did it, and I think I had Nunchuck carrying Dusty because I just wanted them to look like they were wounded and they had to walk back because their vehicle got blown up. So it's been a long time since I posted that one, but that one just they kept falling over. The one in the rain was totally spontaneous. I had the hiss tank and I just ran outside and started taking pictures.
It looked
And I
awesome.
don't think I posted that many of them. I need to.
Yeah, if you got, yeah, definitely. If you have more of that one, I would definitely post. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure, any of the ones that your B sides, I'm sure those are all good. One thing that always sticks out in my mind when I'm thinking about like how many taking the pictures, which
Yeah.
ones I use, which ones I don't, is I remember hearing Matt from Shooting the Galaxy talk about
Yes.
how he limits the amount of actual photos he takes because so my idea was I was like, okay, I'll set these up. I will take as many pictures from all the angles as I can, and then I'll go back through later and pick them out. Because you know how I do it, like a movie style, where
Yeah. Yeah.
there's multiple photos at once, and that's at first I struggled because I took too many. And it's
Yeah.
like these are all these slight variations and it was I'd have to do like multiple filters, right? So if I had 50, I'd have to be like, okay, let me try to pull 20 out of here that are really good. Do the 20. And then out of the 20, be like, all right, I've got to whittle this down to 10. And then when you only have the 20 in front of you, it's easier to whittle the 10.
Yes.
So what I started to do was a combination of both, where I was absolutely still going to be taking a lot of pictures, but not as many, right? So if I started off, instead of 50 pictures to go through, I'd start off with 25 or 30, and then I was able to kind of just, whittle it around with not a big deal. I mean, this is most of my questions that I had, and I think we went through them pretty well time wise. That worked out
Yeah, I
great.
think so.
But I do want to talk about some other stuff real quick, if you don't mind hanging out while I go through it.
Please.
I promise I won't make you sit there while I'm talking about all this other stuff. So this week was a big week. I have some incredible stuff coming up I'm pretty sure I'll be able to have some of it done this by the end of this weekend, but imminently within the next couple days, I have really, really cool shit coming. First off, there is I was hoping to have maybe had something out a little earlier today that we would be able to talk about, but when I had, again, I'm on a schedule with this remodel. I have to have X amount done every day. I ran into some issues and it took me a little longer. So I wasn't able to put it out as early, but tomorrow, hopefully probably in the morning, you guys are going to see what will be your first very limited view of the Atlas from Mo's Minds Creations.
It's dope. It's dope.
I cannot stress to everybody that they are, I have been saying, prepare yourself. It's coming. Its ability to be ordered is coming up. It's imminent. Matt is ironing out all the details, and with a lot of stuff, he's trying to be as prepared as he can before he opens the doors for you guys to run through, which I know you're going to run through. So over the course of this next week, I am going to be slowly giving you a slow drip of it to leading up to a final reveal. I'm going to wind up doing its own live event where I'm going to kind of sort of, after you guys have seen multiple different small pictures, I am going to fucking boop. I'm going to hold it like this, and then you guys are going to finally get to see it, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
It deserves its own deal because there is so much detail and options on it. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And what makes it also very cool is that it doesn't stop with just the purchase of the actual Atlas itself. Matt is working on some other things that are going to be able to, I'm trying not to go too far ahead. He's working on some things that you are going to have as options for it that are going to be incredible. He's again working on all those, but I have seen he does digital renders that are incredible, and you more than get the gist. And so the handful of stuff that he has shown me and that is going to be you're going to be able to purchase aside from that and add on to it. It is going to be like a revolutionary piece in a sense that the way it can be an absolute centerpiece of a photo shoot is it's versatile in many, many ways to do that. So I don't want to spend too much time just kind of talking about something that I'm not showing you guys because that's a little bit boring. But I am, in case there's anybody out there that hasn't been here in the last couple of weeks when I show it, I do have to show off a few things when we move on, but the Atlas is here and you guys are fucking going to be blown away. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. When I put it next to the Hiss, it literally swallows it. It swallows it completely. You're not ready for that. You're not ready for that comparison. It is fucking insane. There we go.
I love that. That's you talking about third party stuff. That's going to be probably one of my next purchases.
So I feel like, and I've said this before, that I don't think there's anything out there from a third party that you're going to get that is this incredible for the amount of money, right? So basically, I'm not going to be able to get the camera to kind of look down at it. I kind of have to hold it up. So this, like everything else, is modular. That is one of the many really, really incredible things about Matt's stuff is that you can just simply see. I can even do this with one hand. See, I take that off, and then another part will connect to it. You can get the bar would look amazing to this. I mean, hell, you can even put another one of these if you slid it off to the side, probably just right. And it comes with these incredible end caps that I think just finish it off really good for when you have it like this and boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
For
I love it.
backpacks, you can't go wrong with that. These nice little shelves that hold. You know what? I was looking for this gun the other day when I did the Python Patrol thing. I forgot I had it in here.
See,
But
that's where you can store your extra weapons. You're
yes,
ready to go.
exactly. Grenades, little pistols and stuff, secondary weapons fit real good there. Hold on, let me slide this down. I got to out. The detail on this Ma Deuce is amazing. It's got its own little ammo box. It's super dope ammo belt. And then it's just little things like this, like all
Yeah,
this detail. I mean,
love
it
it.
just makes it look absolutely, absolutely amazing. So the top also does come off. So you could actually take this top, set it next to it, and use it as a whole separate kind of part, right? Like all these come off, and then you could stand just this next to it and have you could have the
Yeah,
infantry guy underneath it, and then the snipers on top, and then still have this kind of like it will if you took this apart, I'd be able to take this and open it up completely. So you can buy this and actually wind up turning it into what is two fucking things.
yeah,
And I'm hard pressed because believe me, I've looked afterwards just to kind of try and be like, when I say these things that if there's, I'm not like just blowing smoke. There ain't nothing out there that you're gonna buy that is gonna, as far as like a
yeah.
large dial piece, you're not gonna find anything out there that's gonna make you this happy to set up like a play set to make it that's huge. It's pretty ridiculous. And then real quick, one more time. And this is the bar. I have a dial for this, a standalone dial for this that's coming up.
That's
This
great.
Cobra Troopers behind this thing looks amazing. Again, there's the
Yes.
detail on the panels. There's the modular ability. It moves all over the place. Got these huge double Vulcan cannons, and because I haven't said it yet, gridiron compatible. You can fit gridiron stuff into all that actual pin. Um, so and then where's my and then of course I have to show this. So CG Horror got his, and he got it in blue, and boy is that blue sharp. So here we go. That's what we
That's
got here.
nice.
This is the Merc. This beautiful gun in the front with the
Hmm.
adjustables. You can take these pegs out so you're standing up, you're kneeling down, or you're laying down, and it's scaled perfectly so all the figures fit. It's got the very lifelike rope that moves around. I think this is important because when you
Yeah.
grab, I think I had to shoot where the two divers were dragging it out of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
water. Perfect. These are also dope. Very, very nice. They fit well in the figure's hands. When you put one hand at the top, one hand on the side. This articulates like a motherfucker. Super, super awesome. And if you look on the inside, there's like a lot of detail on the floor of the boat. And it's things like
Wow.
that that just bring it way over the
Yeah.
top. Yeah. Yeah. It's
I love
like
that.
real, real,
Love.
real ass detail in there. It makes it
That
look
reminds
really,
me
really
of
cool.
it reminds me of the Cobra Night landing that we had in the '80s. That was such a cool little accessory set, and so that's perfect. That's
So the
amazing.
good
He's done
thing
an
is,
amazing job.
A hundred
Go ahead.
percent. The good thing is he has it in Night Landing Blue. So
Yes.
CG's looks amazing. And I can't. Yes, his the Merc is an amazing piece, and he's got great ideas for the photos with my eels. I cannot wait to see those. I think that's going to look dope. Also, one of the best compliments too that CG was saying. He was like, and he makes amazing stuff. Everybody's seen the Destro Design side. We can grab that.
Yes.
So the guy that made this,
Hmm.
absolutely incredible signage. The guy that made this was complimenting the ultra tightness of the prints that come out of
Good.
that Matt makes. They're amazing. So real quick, I just want to say again that I cannot wait what's coming up for the course of the next week, where I'm showing you guys exactly what's going on with the Atlas. It is I had high expectations. I knew it was going to be great. I knew it was going to be extra and it was going to be awesome. But when I got it, I
Yeah.
would have never imagined that it was going to blow me out of the water like this. It is way over the top.
I hope somebody does because I feel like the Atlas in especially would look good with other toy lines. So specifically, what I was thinking of was Marvel Legends. If you had a team of Nick Fury and some Shield troopers, that'd be something we're straight out of the comics. I think that would look incredible. So we need to find somebody. We need to get somebody who's a Marvel Legends collector to get hooked up with this thing.
100%. And that is so what I like. So the colors that I got the colors that I got that are very universal. So I could put anything, any kind of figures, Joes, Cobras, Marvel Legends, any of this stuff I could put on there, and it would look it would look perfect. There is the photographability, it's which I just invented that word. The photographability of this thing is amazing. Like I'll just look, just as a quick example. I was looking at it from the back, just the back, turned slightly so I could see up the side a little bit with the lights, the stuff that I had, the little parts where he has like the yellow and the red in the back, and then I took Beachhead and I just stood him next to it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this is fucking so
Yeah, I
awesome.
mean, any of the GI Joe vehicles, they're kind of set pieces for the figures. So when I'm taking photos of them, I usually don't take pictures. The vehicles themselves
Right,
are
right,
amazing, but if you can
right.
get them in the background, it just adds another level of
Perfect,
authenticity
perfect,
to what you're doing. So
for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
man's making some killer stuff.
Absolutely. So I cannot wait to get into that this week. The first couple of things, and I know I'm already telling you that I'm going to be teasing the shit out of you with it, and I will. But if you guys beg enough, then maybe I'll speed up the timeline to the reveal. But that next week is going to get its own reveal. I'm excited for that. Matt, thank you so much. I really appreciate. I love working together. It's great. I also find a sense of pride, having the 001 of something that comes out like that. And but yeah, so when you see my colors, remember everything Matt does is customizable. I can't speak to the full color palette that he does stuff in, but if you go on his Etsy, you'll be able to see that he makes, like, even in the Iron Grenadiers, he's got like the gold and the red and the black. Those colors are fucking amazing. Like when they're shit that it explodes. That red is so bright, it looks
Yeah,
good. He does the Night Force, a Cobra and a Joe, and all of them are on the money. They're incredibly nice. So, and I'm pretty sure that, like, and again, I don't want to speak for Matt without saying, but I'm pretty sure if you were like, hey, what about this color? I'm sure he'll let you know if he can kind of get the filament or if it's a possibility or how that works. I know he's amazing to work with, and yep, whatever we want, made to order. Yeah, he
yep,
does not fuck around like
fantastic.
that, and he's great to work with. He's an amazing dude. So please,
We're
by
gonna
all
do
means,
Barbie. We're gonna do do Jim and the holograms colors, like some bright pinks and stuff like that. It's gonna be dope.
listen. If you, I tell you right now, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along the way. I mean, because if you have a daughter that happens to be collecting and into some stuff like that, like I feel, yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
it would be,
there's how.
right, right. So he's great to work with, and again, Matt, thank you so much. I'm extremely excited to get into it this week with the Atlas, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. I know you're gonna blow everybody's doors off with the support that it comes, because it's going to be very hard to say no to. I know there's a lot of people out there that were very unhappy with the Snowcat, and I feel like if you were unhappy with that, then this is absolutely
Yeah,
something that you need to look into. It is
yeah.
as I have said before, it is a viable HasLab alternative. I put this vehicle right up there, like, because I saw, they did show the Snowcat right next to the Hiss, and it definitely made it look smaller, no doubt. You're like, oh wow, that's definitely
Yeah.
bigger than the Hiss. When you put the Atlas next to the Hiss, you're like, Jesus Christ, that's embarrassing. It. When I first, with the picture that I sent you, Conrad, it makes it almost look like you're like, oh, is that a classified vehicle next to the
Yeah.
3 3/4 Hiss? It makes it look like, I mean, I'm slightly
Yeah.
exaggerating, but my eye looks at it and goes, fuck, look at how small that looks. And the
Yep.
Hiss is big. It's a chunky vehicle, and it swallows it completely. It's crazy. So yes, Mo's Mind Creations. Go, you can find, I have all the links. The pinned tweet that is on my profile page is a video that has his Etsy link in it. You can find that and head right over. He has a ton of stuff. You've got to go check it out. I want to move along. I do have some other stuff to show you from Sys 3D Arsenal. Uh,
Yes.
I I I became obsessed with this stuff from the second I saw it. I always like to show the very first thing that I got. This is the Firefly Mission Crate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Scrap Iron Mission Crate right here. Absolutely
Yes.
amazing. You open this up, boom. This top tray comes out. You
Yeah.
got right here. This is your Vulcan cannons. Really, really amazing. These come out, and each one of these slides into the missile
Yeah.
port of Scrap Iron's drone. He's got the nice little
Awesome.
cis label. He always sneaks that in on his stuff, and it really looks cool. So the first thing you got to do, though, in order to do that, is take the missiles out of the drone and slap them in here. Everything is precision molded. I'm talking about, like, when this goes in here, if you look, there's these little tabs on the side, and the bottom tray is missing the corners. That's what allows this to go to the bottom, and then the other tray to sit on top of those corner pieces. So this is like ultra precision right there. Boop, you put the missiles back in, and then after you put the Vulcan cannons right inside the drone, you can actually put this back in, and you can have it all closed up, or you can leave it open and do whatever you want. But yeah, this is the first one I got. So I ordered this, and it was like the next day I saw that he also makes a Firefly one, and I was like, oh my god, I have to have that too. So I ordered that, and I had both of those, and then that was it. I was obsessed with it, and I haven't stopped ordering stuff to this day. I have some stuff I'll talk about that's upcoming for SIS at the end here, but I just wanted to touch real quick. Boop, 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 boop. What do we got? So real quick, one of the super cool things is he has a bunch of different stuff like this with ordnance. We have bang, bang, bang. Nice. There's 8 of these like landmines. You have 4 of these, which look like, time charges that you can put on there. And you can get this one in all the colors. Like here, I got it in the HISS colors. The Fire Team 788's got one. And they do make it in the Cobra Blue. Something that I have in the Cobra Blue, which I think I left up here. Well, I must have put that somewhere. Anyway, I have another one that looks like this, and it's got all the gold bars in it. I can't believe it. Oh, there it is. So here's the Cobra Blue. And this, for props, scenes, you can't have a dio. Well, I'm sorry. I can't make a dio without having some of this in it. I feel like it is one of those things that if it will look, I like the way my things look when I set up the figures and the posing is good. That's great. But what really makes it is when you see them interacting with this kind of stuff, or even when it's just stacked in the background. Like I've been ordering for a while, so now when I can put an amount of stuff in the background, it makes it look really cool. But something like this is amazing. So boom, to give it out. We all know that Zartan loves money, right? So like when the Dreadnoks need to get some dirty deeds done, but they want to get paid because that's how they roll.
There you go.
You can have Cobra Commander send that shit. Look at that. So, and again, because he don't fuck around, there's not just 8. There's 2 layers. So there's 16 of these bars. That's pretty awesome. And if you look, there is some really cool texture. Really, really awesome. He's got the SIS logos on there. Chris definitely does not fuck around.
Very cool.
Matt, thanks for joining us, brother. I appreciate it. Listen, I'm going to be hitting you up tomorrow. All right, my dude. Thank you again. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. So that is the Cobra Blue. And then now, so this, I'm going to get into the Cobra grenades. I have to show these off real quick. So there's the grenades. Doop, doop, doop. Very, very awesome. And these also come in all the colors. So the HISS has their own grenades. The Joes have their grenades. These Joes one, I always like showing these off because these have that yellow stripe. Oh, let me see if I can get one.
Have a good night, Stevie. I think Stevie's actually the one tagging out. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Oh, my
good.
God. Jesus Christ. Oh, my bad.
All good.
My bad, Matt. I don't have my glasses on, and I'm old as fuck. So there you go. Check that out. That is pretty sweet. So, yeah, Stevie, thank you for coming by. That little yellow around the top makes it good. Now, I can't, because, again, I don't have my glasses on. There we go. Yeah, Matt, I'm sorry, brother. My bad. There we go. So if you look on the side there, there's just enough. Hold on. What I'm trying to highlight here is there's just enough of like the indent here where you can see through. And now you can't stick a figure's hand in there, but it gives that detail that like it's open and that it makes it and it's little things like that that make it ultra realistic. I think that's pretty dope. It's kind of like that when I talked last week when I talked about that dio in the restaurant, all that little detail. I think that shit is amazing. So so now we're gonna crack into the new stuff. that I got from Sys 3D Arsenal. Now, there is some stuff that I have upcoming that I'm not going to show you. Y'all are going to get teased with that as well. But what I got that I really love, you know what? I'm going to start over here. I'm going to save that one for last. He's got really awesome barrels. So I love this. If I don't know if it translates, but the detail around the rings and everything is just, I love it. The lids, it's just got like these two knobs. You know how they have the breather knobs in real life, so you got them there. It comes off, and you can store stuff, and you can hide stuff in there. You can. I don't know. I've never tried. I bet I could probably fold what was her name, Viper or Vipera. You could probably fold one of them if you wanted to make a crazy shot and have a body in there. You could probably make that work. But this is absolutely insane. I love these. I had like found some at a dollar store and spray painted them, and you know, it's like it's fine,
It's all
and
right.
and you deal with it. But then when you order one of these, you're like, oh, I can never get another one again.
Yeah.
So I ordered. I never paint another. So I ordered the Joe color. Let's get it. Oh. Couple more things real quick. Yep. Boom. There's the blue or the green one. Here's the blue one. They stack very, very well. If you had a couple, you could put them on there. These are really, really sweet. Other little kind of dial pieces. These cans. These are pretty dope. I love them. Yep. These are really cool. It's a good set. Two of them together looks nice, and they scale really well in the hands of the figures. It's really, really awesome. Something that's a little older, I'll just show this real quick, is the Helix mission crate. I haven't filled this out yet. I'm going to do a whole video with those where it's going to be the mission Helix. And again, he's got these tables too. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 pieces that slaps together. Really, really awesome. This is great in dials because you can have the figures doing stuff on the table. It works out really well. It's super nice. I'm probably going to buy another one of those tables, one in the Cobra Blue to go with all the blue stuff that I have. Yeah, he does have bunk beds. Those are freaking sweet, right? Matt said, talking about Sis has a whole line of stuff on his website. That's incredible. You can also find his link. I meant to put everybody's links to their Etsy in the web thing today. Totally forgot. I've been flummoxed a little bit. I had a little trouble getting this together, so I dropped the ball on that. All right, so I'm going to move to, all right, I'll do this one next. So this one is new. I just got this, and it is awesome. Again, it's the same size kind of mission crate, and the same exact one that comes with the ordnance, the grenades and stuff. But look at what is in this one. Boop.
Nice.
Chemical junkers. So here we've got, it looks like, oh, I have it upside down, sorry. So if you look right here, it's like a detonator style. Over here, you've got like what looks like almost like a vent. So it's like, because the whole thing, you got to have something like this breathe. You take it off, it's got to breathe. But then when I take these off, these are amazing. So they are translucent, right? So I can see through them. But I don't know, hold on, I don't know if I can get a light to come back through. But there is a fucking spiral in there, almost like a double helix looking thing that really is
dope.
Crazy.
That's perfect Dr. Mindbender stuff. Or actually, he just said some TMT.
Yes.
TMNT.
Yeah, Matt knows what he's talking about. That right, the Secret of the Ooze. We have it right here.
Yep.
Chris awesome. Has made Secret of the Ooze. But if you look, I'm trying to show it. If you look real close, there's just all these little details. That are in the printing itself that really stands out. So I have a lot of plans for this. This is actually going into a dio that I'm going to talk about in a second, but I want to show you this one last thing. This is really, really awesome. So this is going to get a lot of play in the set for with the coming up in a lot of the movie portion and stuff that I'm going to make. But what this does right here is boop, bam.
That's great. Perfect.
This is a holder.
Need something to do with those.
Absolutely. For your mass device elements. You cannot go wrong with this. So I should have cracked out the other one because I have the one that comes with snake eyes. But they all fit right in here. I love like all this stuff, like the trays, the mission crates, they all come out. But yeah, that looks incredible. So I could, you could take it out of the crate. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to wind up using this to go on something that I'm going to make, and it's going to look like they're going to be used. It's not going to be the mass device. But what I really like about it is how, when you look at this, it almost looks like, oh, the bigger piece is usually, you know, on the bottom. But if you did it that way, you wouldn't be able to see these as well when you take the lid off. So the handles are on the top part, so you can make a scene where you can show two people that are, you know, lifting it off in front of Cobra Commander or something along those lines.
That is sweet.
So, but also something that I'm gonna tease you guys with, in terms of the Sys 3D Arsenal stuff. So, he has hooked me up with a set of the shelving and rack system that he has. That is going.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I need to invest in that.
Bro, these are fucking awesome. I have seen them on the website. I've printed some of them myself, and I'm brand new at printing. I put no time. I don't clean my prints as good. I just wanted some background stuff. Chris has printed me a full set with the lockers, with the multiple racks. I'm not going to show it yet because I want the first time that you guys to see it to be in the Cobra Claw launching facility. That is going to be basically brought to you by Sys 3D Arsenal, the interior of that. It is going to be unfucking believable. First of all, the pack job on this stuff that he sent was amazing. Once I got it out and I set all of them up together, I just like looked at it like this. I knew it was going to be dope. I had seen it before. You know, you see it how he does it. He takes amazing pictures himself. He sets up his dios. They're really cool pictures. He takes good shit. That rack system looked so awesome in those pictures. I just was like, all right, I have to wait until I can get I have to wait. It is like Christmas, Chris. I have to wait until I get all enough to buy all of them together. And it just never worked out. And then finally he was very nice enough to to help out, and he's bringing the dio over the top. I can make a bunch of really cool looking shit, right? I can weather these walls, and I can put the balcony up, and I can have this other stuff. But when you see this stuff that's there, your mind almost goes from the figures to the thing. You're like, wait, wow, what is that? The way they fit together. And it's like, it's one of those things. Like, I know how I talked about our boy Cole Art Creative. When I got those little G.I. Joe sketch cards, dude, when I open that, it's the same thing like with this shelving from Chris and Sys 3D Arsenal. I know it's going to be good, and I've seen it because I've been looking at it. I know I want it. I've been looking at it, and then when it's actually in front of me, so much little detail comes popping out, and the quality of the print shows in like a ridiculous way. Photos are amazing, and but a photo I'm learning with figures as well as 3D printing stuff. It all looks so much better when you get it in hand, right? There's figures like the Techno Viper. I've talked about that extensively. I like the way it looked. I was excited to get it, but when I got it and opened it, I was like, "Yo, what the fuck? This is one of the coolest looking figures I've ever seen in my life." Amazing, absolutely amazing. Same thing with there was a couple that exploded out. I just had it in my head and I can't remember. But those kind of things where when you look at it, you're just like, oh my God. So that's what it was like when I set up that rack system. That rack system was ridiculous. It's almost a must have. I have a nice little bag of all the pins and pieces for I'm going to say pegboard, but I know there's a better term for that probably. And what I like about the system itself, and I'm just going to say one thing about it and not talk about something you're not seeing anymore, but it's the rack system that they have where you can line the guns up. And so if I'm holding it in my hand and you're looking at it, you're looking at the gun standing up the long way. I now have the ability to highlight a gun by putting it on the pegboard sideways, and you can see the profile of it. And I think that is a huge thing. I've been waiting for these things in particular so I can fill out the inside of a dio, a building like this, like an inside interior shot that to look like this. So the Cobra Claw launching facility went from a really cool idea to something that I think is going to be arguably my best work yet, because in terms of like a fully made dio, I'll have things like this. Oh, and there is one more thing. I'm not going to show it. I really want that to be I want that to be revealed in a thing. Is, I mean, of course you can go see them on his website, but again, when you see him interacting with the figures and stuff, is the I don't think I showed you, Conrad. I meant to is the mechanic set. So it's a rolling mechanic cart, right?
Oh,
Well,
sweet.
rolling. It stands. It's got 4 wheels on the bottom,
Mhm.
multiple drawers. I actually picked up these really inexpensive sets of tools off of Amazon that are scaled for it that go inside them and fit perfect. It's the blue, the Cobra blue color that's going to go into the Cobra Claw launching facility, and I'm going to try to wrap this up soon. The Cobra Claw launching facility is going to be all 4 of my claws launching from the inside going out of the top. That part is going to be cool when I have multiple of them in various
Yeah.
stages of taking off. I think that's going to look great. But the setup to leading to that shot is going to be showing the Techno Vipers actually wrenching and working on these special Cobra Claws. There's going to be Televipers that are going to be coordinating and working on stuff in the computers and making sure that the programming is good and setting everything up. Then I'm going to have Vipers that are going to be taking guns off the rack from the Sis3D Arsenal rack. They're going to be putting them out to, they're going to be protecting it as the Joes are trying to raid it. So that, the items that I just got from Chris is basically makes the Cobra Claw launching facility brought to you by Sis3D Arsenal because
Love it.
it's going to make that dio
Yeah.
completely. Again, I can make the walls nice. I can set the figures up, but when you have this other shit there, that makes the scene totally ridiculous. So make sure if you go to my highlights on my profile page, you will see I have a bunch of videos for Sis3 Arsenal highlight and all this stuff. The latest ones were for the grenades, and I did like a just a shot of all the GI Joe mission crates and stuff that I had. So any of those videos, you find the link to Chris's Etsy. But if you just go to Etsy, it's if you're watching, you can see right here. You'll be able to buy from my website in the
Yep.
next week or two. For those that don't like Etsy, oh great! So
That'd be nice. That'd be good for
awesome,
him. Yep.
awesome.
That'd be good for
But
you, brother.
yeah, absolutely. Way to grow that brand. Way to expand, bro. Your shit is dope, and I'd like to see you getting the due that it's worth. Both you and Matt. It's exciting to see that people are taking to your products because they're quality, and you both deserve. To have good valued customers
Absolutely.
that come to buy your shit. So yeah, that the Cobra Claw launching facility that's coming. I was hoping to be a little further along on it at this part in the weekend, but I'm going to try to wrap that up by Monday night. I already have a lot of the stuff painted. It's mostly at this point a little bit of assembly. I'm dying to get those out to you. I want everybody to see that. I think they're going to be amazing pictures, of course, because of the stuff. But the Cobra Claws, just to also touch on somebody, our boy Nate Mylar, who
Yes.
everybody, I think we all kind of agree he's the best photo taker, right? I mean,
Oh,
it's just,
absolutely.
he makes
Yes.
he does those with the gunfire, the explosions, the way he lights them up and everything. I can't. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So he like when I think of pictures and stuff that looks good, like I try to shoot for that level of awesome where I'm never going to be as good as he is because he's got the actual camera and this other stuff
Yeah.
but that's good. But that's when I think about trying to get to a certain level, it's definitely like what would Nate do here? How would he
Yeah.
make this look and what is
Exactly.
it? I mean, listen, lots of people take amazing photos. You for instance, I've always said that you take amazing shit. You're the posing wizard, but just the way he
Yeah.
seems to be able to get them particular shots. He's like a lighting wizard, a posing
Yes.
wizard, the whole
I,
fucking
I
thing.
hope if he's not been already, I hope Hasbro eventually. By the way, not shooting the Galaxy does incredible work. Please don't replace him. But I
Right.
would love to see Mate get some work from Hasbro or any
It's
other toy manufacturer for real.
right.
Dude's
It's one of
incredible.
those it's one of those things where like, oh, he's doing that for fun. Imagine if they
Yes.
actually had a paid allotted time
Yeah.
for him to do so. It's same thing. I listen, I know everybody would love to get paid to play with toys, but I think
Yeah.
about it all the time. I'm like, man, even if I just had, because like I do so much on the weekends and
Yeah. Yeah.
with the kids and then work and stuff. It's like, man, if I just had a couple days out of the week that I could do this, I would come up with some really cool shit. So awesome. So that's great, Chris. But if you wanted to go check out any of Chris's stuff, you can see how he spells it there. It's SYS 3D Arsenal.
Yes.
Right on Etsy, you can find it. And like I said, you have to go look at his stuff. My only warning is that you will most likely become obsessed with
Yes.
all of the shit. And it'll be one of those things where you're like, all right, you're gonna be like, this is all cool. I think I'll get this one. And then you'll get the first one and you open it and you look at the quality, you see what it's like, and you're like, oh, I need all of that. I need all of the stuff that he has on
I
his
need to
Etsy.
build the whole collection.
Build the whole collection. So also one thing that's pretty awesome that I think, when you look at the pictures that Chris himself takes, in the background, when you see the actual walls, the actual floor, he sells those dial pieces. So like, not only do you have the ridiculous, shelving systems and the table in the middle and all the awesome stuff that the figures are fucking with, that's on the awesome table. When you look back at the actual room, the whole entire goddamn room, he has, you can build with those pieces. I think he's got it broken down. There's different wall pieces that kind of turn to the floor. There's all kinds of stuff. But it's all listed right there. And to me, it's all incredibly reasonable. Like I said, you can buy things like this for your dial that are really inexpensive, that make it look really, really awesome. Things like this, you could go and spend less than $50 and wind up having a nothing shot to having a table, some cans, and this. And again, when you go to Etsy, make sure for both my dudes here, for Matt and Chris, make sure you use my promo code. You get discounts for both of those places. It's Destro Designs. Make sure not only do you get to save some money, it also lets these guys know who's coming and buying their stuff and what's putting their eyes on the product. That just helps everybody, and also kind of helps too, because I think you can kind of see where the traffic comes from. So if people are following the link from Twitter, they know that, okay, hey, we're seeing X amount of traffic come from Twitter. This is where we put the promotional stuff in it. So all that helps. All that is amazing to everybody. So make sure you check out his stuff. And then I just want to show one more quick thing, because I know we're well past the 2-hour mark here. So I've shown this a few times and it's gotten really good responses. And I was hoping to have done a video to have out so we could talk about that video again. But these last 2 weeks work-wise have been crazy. It's just been nuts. So our boy Dice Man 3D Props is on Facebook, and he's making some really cool shit that's incredibly affordable. Things like this, right? And now I haven't put the stickers on. You know what? I'm just going to take an extra second and try to do this so you guys can actually show and appreciate the stuff. So you get a bunch of these, right? That can go. Oops, hold on. I got the wrong. Sorry, this one is for the smaller. There we go. So this one, like this right here. Awesome, right? Something that definitely the Joes would be looking at. And boop, you slide that right on there and look at what we got.
Perfect.
You want to have one of your, a Cobra Trooper looking on that, and you pointing and telling somebody to go do something based on what he's seeing on this laptop. It scales perfectly. They sit real nice. Now I've got 3 other ones. This one right here. This one. Everybody has to have nuclear codes, right? So here. You got with the big red button, right? Like the prototypical, launch the nukes. You got to have that. And then, I wish I put the stickers on this one, because this one right here is the shit. This is absolutely awesome. This is what I saw first, and I was like, hey, yo, I got to have that. So this right here folds out to a tri-screen drone operatable thing with the handles. Those 2 little handles right there, and it scales perfectly. I have. Speaking of a Cobra Trooper, so I had a Cobra Trooper with his hands on this, and then I have one of the matching, the blue Gridiron Equalizer drone, and it looked like he was operating here we're operating the drone as we go. So these I could probably actually slide. I don't know if they'll stay, but I have a bunch of the actual pictures that I can put on here, and that's what it looks like with a couple.
That looks great.
So he sends options. It's not just like some bullshit where, here's the 3 for you. So on that try screen, I have two, because there's the big one in the middle and 2 on the sides. I have 2 options for the one in the middle, and then I have 4 options for the ones on the outside, where I can I can make them both yellow, or I could set it up where one's yellow and one is one of these other ones. And they're awesome, very tactical looking shots that definitely make sense what you're trying to do. And then also, just as a good measure, he said, I got 3 extra handles, 1 extra
Nice.
handle for each in case, because it's one of those things that I'm sure he's obviously gluing it on there. And God
Yeah.
forbid, listen, for the price you are paying, you are getting your money's worth without a doubt. And then I showed this last week and I had to put it together on camera, but I got it together today. I'm going to go.
Nice.
There's the console.
Yeah. Mainframe's
There,
gonna look great in that.
so much cool shit. I'm probably going to off to the back in the Cobra Claw launching facility. I'm going to have a Televiper sitting behind here, kind of running the show. Like whatever he's doing on here is translating to all the little tablets and other laptops that are down on the floor working on the launching facility. It's also going to show, this chair. First of all, this chair is really highly detailed. It's got this painted vent underneath. It just things like that send me over the edge that I think look really awesome. We got the tower. Boop. Tower looks really dope. Super cool. I got speakers. Now, because he couldn't tell which one, he was like, I made this one red to match the tower, but I wasn't sure I felt about it. So I made these for you and he sent them too. So you can kind of, you could set them up kind of right behind. I don't know if you see me popping them in there right down here. You can set those up. And then here's what that tower looks like unpainted. If you wanted to get it unpainted and have your own kind of deal on there. Boop, 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 boop. And also, like he sent me, so with the speakers, he sent these stands. And if you look, boop, it actually, I can glue that on. So the speaker, so I have this idea that I'm going to set up 2 of these and I'm going to make it like not a torture scene, but an interrogation scene where they're trying to get info out of somebody. So they're going to play the heavy metal music right in their face. I think that's going to look pretty cool. The keyboard slides out. You can have, or you can push it back in. I think that's awesome. So I also got a secondary keyboard. So if I wanted to take one of these setups and I could do this and turn this one sideways and almost have a whole other figure standing there as like a separate part of the station. I think that kind of modular ability is fucking really awesome and really makes your money worth what it is. Because then you can set it up to look different between Joe and Cobra. And just like the laptops, I got nice little pictures for the screens. Now, he did send me the Cobra Commander upstairs in my bedroom. It was in my pocket. I forgot to take it out. He did send a Battle Mask Commander as well. So you can take your choice. I thought that was dope. There you are. There you are, right there. And then also for the other ones, it's again for the other screens, you get these really sick options where you can make it whatever the fuck you want. They're all tactical. They all look really, really awesome. You cannot go wrong. So now this console right here normally sells for $65. If you reach out to my man, Dice Man 3D Props, and mention that I sent you there, he's not only going to, instead of 65, including plus shipping, he's going to ship this to you for 50 even.
Nice.
And I think that is pretty awesome. Hey, Commander Unicron, what's up, brother? Nice. Glad you could make it. Fort Wadsworth and Shaolin.
What's up, bro?
Shaolin, call nice. You were down in down in Staten Island, the Killer Hills. I love it. So $50 shipped. That's what you can get this console for. He also said on top of that great deal, he's going to throw in some little extras. Now, I'm not privy to what they are, but I'm sure it will make it worth your while. I can say it might not be as big as, say, this, but if you ordered enough, who knows? Maybe something like this just shows up with it. Really, really dope. Last week I tried to show it. It wasn't glued together, so it kind of fell all over the place. But this is really, really sweet.
Yeah,
so I had Roadblock on there, and he fits perfectly. Fits absolutely perfectly. So I want to do a shot with Roadblock and Gung Ho getting after it. Definitely. So for sure, 100%. Oh, and real quick, I know I'm trying to get everybody out of here. Real quick, there's a Pop Cult Frenzy advertises for these guys every now and again, and I think you might even have a promo code for it. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I think I thought I brought it over here. Let me see. Well, hell, Anybody watching is to be like, this is the most unprepared dude on the face of the planet, and you would be correct. So, okay, here it is. So their logo is the Top Gun logo, right? And it's
Okay.
called Top Fun Retro Toys. And
Nice.
they have a selection of guns that are very, very affordable. So they have dope ass fucking guns like this. All right.
Very cool.
$6.
Nice.
So I'm sure you can imagine on one of the other sites that this is an $11.99 jammy.
Yeah.
Now, of course, quality is always, you get what you pay for sort of deal, right? To a certain extent. But this right here, this particular gun in particular for $6, I thought was quite the fucking deal.
Yeah.
I bought, let's see, I think these were $3.
Yeah.
How can you say no to please give me 3 of those? This little guy right here, just a regular AK.
Nice.
I think that was less than 6. I think that was just a couple bucks. And it's dope. There's a lot of detail to it. But the one that I did get that I really liked, so this one was $12, but I'll show you why. So it is a very dope.
Yeah.
It's got the little N203, but it came with one of the coolest blast effects I've seen to date. Look at that.
That's great. Love
Launching that right out of the grenade launcher on the bottom. It's got a little reticule, the dot, the whole thing. And yeah, I really think that so it does. I shoved, there we go. I had it in here. There is a spot where it sits and it looks absolutely straight. But yeah, I had the 7.818 infantryman holding this, shooting that thing. And yeah, it's pretty dope. So Top Fun Retro Toys. I've never even spoke to anybody there. I just know that, part of
cool stuff.
yeah, part of getting stuff to you guys isn't just about, helping dudes who are making stuff get their brand out there and me doing whatever. It's about, getting the good stuff into the hands of the people to take pictures with and do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you ain't lying, right? That blast effect is nice, right? It's that transparent kind of smoky deal there. Yeah, man, you ain't fucking lying. That thing is awesome. Definitely. So it's about getting you guys, the right stuff. And if I see something, that's why, Pop Cult Frenzy is so good for that. That amount of time that he has to spend and constantly keeping us updated with like the best deals going on all kinds of toys. I mean, and it's not just G.I. Joe. He does it for everything. So I can't. That's one thing, man. I don't know how you guys are obsessive and do multiple lines like that. Like that's
I have no idea.
This breaks the bank. That's the
Yeah.
3 and so I got a couple of those little 3 3/4 figures.
Yep.
And I will stop once I get, so I got right now it's Blizzard, Shockwave mainframe, Scrap Iron is en route. I've already purchased that one. I'm gonna get Beachhead, an Alley Viper. I'd like a low light, a salvo, an ambush. And then I think maybe a Lightfoot because that figure looks really cool. If I can find one that's got all Lightfoot's extras, I think I want him to. If I looked at my list, I'm sure there's probably 20 that I'd like to have, but I think I'm going to go with like an OG 10 that I can maybe make some kind of a display with where they're all like on a peg and they just look nice. And then that's that. And we can call it a day. But speaking of calling it a day, we are hitting the 2 hour and 27-minute mark. And I loved every minute of it, right?
Yeah, it was a good time, brother. Thank you for having me on. I loved it.
Absolutely. Good. I'm glad you had a good time. We will definitely circle back and we'll have you on again. What I'm probably going to do is initially there's a handful of people that I'd really like to get on right away. Damn right, Pop Cult Frenzy. Lightfoot and Classified jumps almost damn near to the top of my list. I remember as a kid, that was one of the things that I thought was crazy. So here's like a bomb disposal guy who has 3 grenades open directly right at his neck. I just always thought that. I mean, not that, Army guys don't have
grenades. He was afraid of nothing. He knew what he was doing.
He don't give a fuck. Lightfoot don't give a fuck. He just absolutely. But yeah, so I'm probably going to run through, a series of guests at first. I'm going to try to do, get everybody in over the course of the next couple of weeks. And then ultimately, once I settle back in, I'm probably going to go alternate where I'll do one solo, have somebody on and stuff like that. Because I don't think many people are built for the run that we just did, 2.5 hours. So I think what's going to happen is a lot of guests, that want to give, and it's fine. Anybody that wants to give me 20 minutes, I'm ecstatic about that. But I'll probably wind up doing it where the guest appearances will be on a standalone, something separate than the main. That way I can kind of keep this Saturday night event, something fun that goes on for a while. Although I have toyed with the idea of putting it on a Sunday a little earlier because a lot of us are older and this is fucking late for me, bro. I'm
get
gonna be
it.
hurt.
I
I'm gonna
get
be
it.
hurting tomorrow.
That'd be okay with me too.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm definitely gonna probably sooner than later make that switch. I'll maybe even consider it for next week. Although I know I'd like to get CG Horror on next week if he's available. But I know going back to work on a Monday, I'd have to do if I wanted to do it on a Sunday night, I'd have to make it significantly earlier. So what is sleep? Oh my God!
Know, right?
So no bullshit. Conrad, what was that like last week or the week before? He sends me a text message and he's like, "I'm just curious what your sleep schedule is. Do you sleep?"
I get a text from you at like 4 a.m. every single day, so I just assume that I'm like, I think he might be a vampire, but anyway.
Yeah, no, he was accurate. It's in this stretch that I've had, I'd say for the past couple months, the average it's like 10:30 to 3:30. That is about what I'm sleeping. Yeah, it's 5:30 a.m. for Snow Leopard. That's fucking crazy.
It is. Well, man, it's your bedtime, so hey, let's get you to bed.
That's it. That's it. So again, I'll just I kind of want to say this in the beginning, but we got started and I lost it.
Yeah.
So a lot happening for Destro Designs as a brand.
Yes.
I feel like the rocket ship is on his way up. I've had people reach out that want to get on the podcast, and I'm fucking flattered by that. Like flattered, like just blown away. And oftentimes it is. Oftentimes I get DMs or stuff that's said in private as well that like is incredibly encouraging, and I very much appreciate that.
We appreciate you being so encouraging to us, man. I love the positivity of this community. So
it's a thing that I'm super proud of that we have here. The internet is largely a toxic place, and so this very nice group. Like I don't care how much followers I ever wind up with or all that, as long as our circle stays what it is, right?
Exactly.
And it's the best CG Horror. It's the best community. Like I said, by far. Like Jeremy runs a nice group on Facebook and everything, but a lot of those people are not as engaging or as interested in being not friendly, but they just don't necessarily. It's not as active. Let's just say that.
Sure.
As it is this nice little group that we have. So I'm super proud of that. But also the point of all that is that what's happening with Destro Designs doesn't happen without the support of everybody, right? So anything that happens here, this isn't happening for me. This is happening for all of us. We're all doing well, and I'd like that. On the weekend time comes that this can be a meeting group for all of us to kind of take this time. I know I love that we missed a ton of comments that were in there because we were going on and stuff. But the fact that you guys are in there chatting and having a good time while we're over here doing it, I love it. I think it's
and
fantastic.
I'll be with you guys next time. So hey, we love it. We love
it. Absolutely. So this was an amazing start to having a guest on. I thought it was great. We knocked out over 2.5 hours, and I think that every little bit of it was stand up talk, and I think it was great. So my brother, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I can't thank you enough. And we will see you in these Twitter streets. And we're out of here, y'all.
Yo, Joe.
Later, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, brother.
Later, brother.